Ready? Call your mama, call your papa, call your friends. The festivities are about to begin. Boom!
Boom. What up, what up, what up, what up, everybody? There you go. Of course, right on cue, the neighbor's dog start barking. Of course. Hey. Okay, she's walking in. It's okay. What's up, guys? We are live on the YouTube universe. This is Jose JG. Boom. And we will be in a few minutes in the Discord server daily. Boom. So jump over there and I'll meet you there in a minute or two. Hello, Thurston. Good to see you. Brad Wagner with the nice flip-flops. He's wearing them. Good to see you, man. He say, mob it, mob it, mob it. Mob it, mob it. Mob it, mob it. Mob it, mob it. That's Family Frog. Squeaky Earth. Let's do it. Oh, 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 oh. I got a globe malfunction. Uh-oh. Globe malfunction. There you go. Let's try again. That was horrible. But now we're working out. Just perfect. Neighbors are looking at me like, well, what's wrong with you, dude? Hey, Squeaky Earth is what's wrong with me, man. There you go. Stay. I hope that was a good, solid sound for you guys. Hello, no name. Martin, what's up? Bend the light. Matthew Hall, what up? Thank you, thank you. Please, if you guys cannot watch the show, just hit the thumbs up and then you can come back and read it out today. You see this extra squeak with dogs barking. Couldn't get better than that. Why couldn't I squeak this? Oh, yeah, you get stuck in there, man. There you go. I think you can. Fantastic. Yeah, it's a solid squeak today. I'm really happy with it. It's one of the best squeaks I had in a very long time. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I see Marcus Dresden with the flip-flops. I see more flip-flops. When they light, Martin. Thank you, guys. RT96. Charlie Wells. Hey, Earth is live. Wearing the flip-flops with pride. Very proud. Let me go to the YouTube live. Hey, see what I got? For the mosquitoes. Smack the back of my head. It's a fly. Nope, missed. Oh well, I tried. That's what happened when they show outside. Smacking my face, smacking the back of my neck. They keep killing the back of my neck, man. I got a few bites over here. I feel them when it's too late. I smack like, oh, fucking destroyed. Welcome to Florida. Let's go to the Daily Boom. And here we are again. Woo! Yes, indeed. See, it's working out. We are in the YouTube Live Discord server. I'm not sure how the stream is looking or how the stream sounds. I hope that the stream looks okay. I hope that the chat box is on and the viewing count, and there's a few banners up here. How to support. You can super chat, PayPal, share the show, hit the like, and all the good stuff, guys. So please consider supporting the boom. I haven't been here for a few days. I apologize for that to everybody. I really sorry, but shit happens. I kind of focusing a little bit in my personal life too. But I'm glad to be back. I hope that we are back strong. Today is an off. We're off time. Tomorrow and moving forward should be an earlier show as usual. Take it soon, Cavalier. What's up? John Rapp, steer shit responsibly, indeed. Anamorphic Mind and Real Cygnus. Thank you. I guess the sound is good and solid. I need to get me a drink. I don't wanna leave empty air. Whew. I'm gonna find something to share over here with you guys while I'm gonna find something to. Oh shit! I fucked this up, damn it. Sorry. I'm gonna find something to share while I go get me what I need to get me a drink. So I must find a short video from my own channel. Let's see what we can play over here. Okay, let's bring back some memories. Wait, I'm gonna scroll all the way down. Find one of these. We have for a big winning 3 minutes and 22 seconds. Gary Webenga with the rubber bands. Hold on. Alright, let's see this. Let's see if we can share this. Oh fuck. Sorry. I'm on it. Why am I having a connection issues? Well, because I'm on Wi-Fi. That's why. Okay, let me see if I can share the screen. So I got a 3 minutes and 22 seconds video. And I should be back then when it's ready to go. Okay, excellent. Here we go. I'm gonna mute myself and get this party on the road. Guys, give me a few minutes. I'll be right back.
Middle between the two floors. You notice he's got this wide angle here. Well, that also gives him a wide angle down here to the ground. This wide area, this angle, these are the lines. Now we're going to show you how the angles, vertex, 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 and it's very narrow. The information will be in that area. You notice this angle now gets wider. It's much wider here. This one is narrow right here. This one is wider, and the last one is even wider. The bottom or the top actually, at the distance, became wider. Now you do have, and yet you still see more with distance, because this is why all become Dan. There's no getting around any of this. This can probably also be applied to things like, right, your angles. So anyhow, do with whatever you want with this. Nobody thought it was possible, but it is. That's when I'm going to call it. From that pole to that pole. Those are the first two stories. 1, 2. Close up, wide angle. Look though. Now all these poles are equally spaced. The side here. But in a second I'm going to move just a little bit further away to that end. But look what happened here. Frame. And yet, on these two sections, now I have, and everything's foreshortened again because I'm close.
I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon.
And that was Gary Webenga on science. Now we got another one back to back because he's some of our favorite characters in this big comedy show that we call YouTube. This is another of our favorite comedians in this neighborhood. This is Brian Leakey. Math skills to the test. Enjoy.
Have you ever had a dream that you had you could do so you want him to do you so much you could do anything?
I don't want to hear, so how does the sun set on a flat earth, or the angle. We're going to put 3959, that's the calculated height. It's what triangulates 1 degree for 69 miles. We calculate, and what do you know? We get 3958.7. We're going to put 26 degrees. Okay, then we're going to put in the calculation. We're going to calculate, and we're going to get 8,115. So remember that number, 8,115. So we keep the 3958 height, and we put in 40 degrees, and then we calculate. We get 4716.9. So I put 4717. So remember that number. That's also important. Let's see what we come up with. How can you be at multiple places for Polaris? How's angles to Polaris? Alright, so we'll start with over 90 is 50 divided by 90. 50 times, say 90 minus 40 is 50, equals 3693. And we're going to get divided by 90 times 471310 times point equals, so 50, 90, 4424, 64 divided by 6,200, 8115, 5,511. So 3693, 17, 1,017 minus 10.64. Subtract it. 4464. So times 688, 6,200, 10 times 80, 1,026 divided by 4717, 3407, 3407 times 3693. So write that down, 1310. 90 minus, we're going to say 811524 minus, no, 90, 13 times 80. Okay, but this is for b-ball. I mean, I thought it'd be obvious. B-ball and paid, that's a shill fit. Why are you subtracting for that? So there's why, and there's an example. So there's your answer. Use this equation, and you shall live. Thank you. An apparent celestial dome refracted light coming through. A sextant and a map. And you want to take this one off first. Make sure that valve is good and tight. It could get a little bit of spitfire. Terrestrial refraction. But that's about it.
Woo! Hope you all enjoyed that. Just bringing back some good old memories from good old rubber bands, Gary Wabingas rubber bands, and Brian Liquez math. We are on the Discord server, the Daily Boom. If anybody would like to join, feel free to come in. I got a bunch of SD cards over here. I'm gonna check to see if I find any of my older observations. Let me stop screen sharing. Leave it there. I'm gonna see if I find any of my older observations and see if we can find something cool. You know, I was browsing around on YouTube yesterday, and I was mind blown when the Bevtards crew was just the Bevtard crew was just wasting time, like 2 hours. I clicked like 15 minutes when the video started, and then I went back like 2 hours after, and there was a screen share. They were screen sharing a video with a big ass Mirage, just a boat, but one of the like smudges, one of those like smudges like Mirages, like the Travis type of Mirages. Oh, they wasted so much time in that shit. It's unbelievable, man. That some grown-up adults think they're gonna decipher something new in related to the shape of the earth. Looking at a Mirage video is fan-fucking-tastic and incredible. What was I doing here? I got me a few SD cards. I don't know which one is which one, so I'm gonna check it out on my end. If there's any worthy of screen sharing, I got you. See right here, look. I'm gonna let me open this. I'm gonna open one first so I can screen share to you. This is random pictures and videos that I took in my time living in Texas. I lived for about 7 months in Texas in 2018, and these pictures are from there. Some pictures, some videos. Shout out to Mr. Victory. Thank you. All right, let's switch the screenshot and see what we got. Let me share this created by Mr. Victory just now. You might be a flurf if you confuse your shirt for a globe. Yeah, sorry about that little corner, about the corner. I'm right here. Good stuff, Mr. V. Good stuff, man. If anybody would like to join, I'll be screen sharing a couple stuff in here. Let's see if I can. Let's see if we can. And what we have. I know I got some. Is boats and ships and containers. I see some train tracks at the end. I'm just gonna scroll forward and see what we got. They're still. I'm not saying this is the best pictures ever. It's just pictures and videos that just interesting to look to see if anything pop out. Because there's nobody in here right now. That's why I am going to switch it up a little bit and share a couple of my All their goodies. My chest hurt for a second. Okay, there you go. All right. Yeah, I think you can see that. I'm gonna kill my camera because it's taking a little bit of the time. Thank you guys. Thank you for being here. 22 of you. It is an odd time. It is late. But if you can support the JG channel, I'll appreciate it. I will accept your support. If you want to do so via PayPal or Super Chat, that's cool, man. So all these pictures and videos were taken in Texas. I don't know exactly what was this. I don't know if this is some kind of a building or maybe the top of some kind of the ship or something. I'm not sure. All right, I got a hit over here on Discord. Let's see who we have over here. Larry GPS is here. What's up? Over here screen sharing to the audience a couple of older observations that I have over here. I don't know exactly what I have or how good they are. We're just gonna share them and see if anything brilliant will show up. See this one picture further. Let me see. Is the same one? Look, is this one? I think right. Let me see. The top blue. It's a little white and thin in the back, right in the bottom. Yeah, I think this is the same. Oh wait, the blue top. I don't see it right here. I don't know. Might be. I mean the same shit. I got a couple clips. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I see Mr. Victory's Radio. I like your flip flops. And Marcus Dresden. I like your flip flops too, man. Stone Monkey KMC. What's up? Yeah, this video is not. This video is nothing special. Just kind of zooming and browsing around. Nothing spectacular. Well, it looks cool. It looks cool. Let me play this and see what we got. Hello, Robert. What's up? Larry, you are here. If you want to say something, please jump in, man. I'm just trying to kind of just blabbing and filling empty air, you know? And everybody's welcome to join us on the Discord server. It is the Daily Boom.
I think that lighthouse there, that's the first video I've seen that you made, and I couldn't figure out whether you were a flat earther or not because you were like on the edge. You were saying, wait a minute,
yeah.
What's up with this? And it was right about the same time Soundly had a bunch of stuff out there, and I'm thinking, who is this guy Jose? I thought he's a flat earther. Wait, he's not. It was in your transition.
Yeah. Right in the point, yeah. And I actually lost the one clip that I did because it was in my older channel. I'm pretty sure that I have that clip in one of these SD cards that I got on my power right here. So I'm gonna try to find it soon and kind of re-upload it and do a nice editing again with the blink test type of thing, and maybe put the coordinates so people can see where it was. It was a cool video, man. I lost it, fortunately. Oh well. But I lost the edited one, so I got the original, so that's cool. It's a nice place to do observations over there in the Galveston area in Texas, man. Look at these big ass ships everywhere. And some cool looking lighthouses and stuff, yeah. Let's see what other pictures. This one is a clear one, very cool. Yeah, those are different ones. Yeah, this one with this one are different models. Look at that, man. They were so close. I mean, just a few miles away. And with the P900, you can see like so many details, bro. Really cool. Every time that I was there, sitting down and taking pictures, remember one of my cousins. He was a he was a big fan of boats. Every time in Christmas and his birthday, all his gifts were boats and container ships and navy vessels and shit like that. Another little video here. I don't know what's up with this. Shout out to Peter G. What's up, Peter? One of the kind of the loss of perspective and the way we observe perspective and we see the perspective effect taking place, and it's something that is being brushed away a lot of times, but it is the clarity of the images. As for further images look more pale, less color, kind of washed out color, a little bit of like hazy. Hey, no hazy, but like you got the extra layer of darkness. The further they are, the kind of the darker they are, or the less, less detail it looks like that big ass boat. I mean, you can see the contrast there. that motherfucker is far too. Perspective is just orthographic denial. Larry, your thoughts on that statement? You like that? Oh, look at that. Look at that perspective in action right there. Look at this. See this one, like, oh, hazy. Shit, can barely see it. I mean, and the weather didn't help. So it depends on how thick the weather is. You can see the effect more. That's beautiful. Yeah, this wasn't a good. This wasn't the best day. There were all kinds of mirages and shit going on there. But still, better than some of the flat earthers, smudges. At least it's cool to look at. And my apologies for the YouTube universe for the poor quality frames. Giant birds. Yes, Mr. Malord, those are giant birds. Oh. And then because I had a little time, I used to go after work. I did overnight work. So I get off work at 7 in the morning and then go over there for an hour or two, record a little bit, take a few clips, and then come back home, Very tired and drained. Yeah, that's a lot of mirage. There's no too good here, but it look cool, Yeah, we know there's a big mirage. I don't have to waste 2 or 3 hours on looking at what the fuck is going on with the mirage. I don't gonna determine anything at the end of the day. Yeah, there's optical, there's atmospheric conditions going on. That's it. That is a conclusion. There's a mirage going on. Period. I don't have to waste my time to redefine what a mirage is. It's nonsense. Fucking nonsense. And some nice, just good old pictures of the area I was in. It's a cool picture, man. So much industrial life. It was back here. Lots and lots of it. Can I read the sign? Woo! I need a drink right here. And the drink I'm having is not an alcoholic beverage. It is energy drinks. Uh-oh. We got the train tracks going. Let's see what the train tracks has in order over here for us. Bendy train tracks. You can barely see this effect, man, when you look in. You can barely see this wobbliness effect when you look in with your own eyes, you know. You have to magnify the shit out of it in order to see this type of stuff. Oh, we got Artist Live in the house. Train tracks. It's not much to see here. Me playing with the higher or lower. Let's see what the train track will show. There you go. All kinds of also of the heat. The heat will give you all of this blurriness, like dancing. Look at that. That's the curvature of the train track right there. That's the video that I did that I called the Pancho train, the Pancho train track. I mean Pancho train space track. I wish I had an alcoholic energy drink, but I don't. This is more of the same. This is looking to the opposite side of the train track and see what I see. Oh, look at that. Yeah, this one is really wobbly. This one is really wobbly. Look at that. Hell yeah, man. Beautiful. And you can see, I mean, this is the foreshortening effect that allows you to see exaggerated curvature and stuff like that. If you thought this was like this uneven and this high or low, you'll be the train bouncing up and down like crazy. Check. Try now, man. I don't hear you, It's live.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, I had to switch because I'm inside of
Right.
a food court. I had to switch to their Wi-Fi. So
Right. That's cool. The microphone is it's not too bad. It's not the worst, but it's not too good either. It's okay. There's not many
yeah,
people here.
it has to be the connection. The connection. That's why.
Yeah. It's okay. It's decent. There was a bunch of train tracks over there in Texas when I lived there, and I liked taking videos of those when I was there. It's interesting. A lot of non able to see all the way to the end. Dude, you got this like washes out like magical effect at the end, you know. Could never see the clarity.
That's
Yeah.
due to that heat coming off the surface.
Yeah. Big time. Gary Wavenga is back. Gary Wavenga, if I give you the range, don't do whatever you did to deserve to be deleted. I think what Gary did, I think you changed the gender to somebody, call us girl or ma'am or something like that. You know, let's not do that. Let's be adults and insult and troll responsibly. Don't change the genders. That's a big no, man. I don't care. But YouTube cares, and we are on YouTube, so I mean, we gotta kind of follow the rules. Just play nice, and we'll be all right. You can insult each other; it's okay, but do it responsibly.
Go responsibly.
Hell yeah! Hell to the yeah! All right, I got another one here. Let me see. But before I start scrolling forward and show something that I'm not supposed to.
And you can tell that those train tracks are not on a perfectly flat surface.
Hey, that train?
This is Pancho train track?
The Pancho train track, yeah. Original Pancho train track. I guess you saw that, right? Yeah, when I put it up, Doofus. Oh shit. That's good. Yeah. I got a few more. Let me switch the screen share. I'll do it myself. So you guys can check on my screen sharing. I'm just kind of scrolling forward different pictures and videos.
Looks a
I'm
lot like.
Wi-Fi. Sorry. What was that?
I was just saying, it looks a lot like Lake Pontchartrain.
No. Hold on one second. Yeah. Sup, Lemon?
Actually, no, because in some of the Lake Pontchartrain footage, you don't see that much of
Sorry, guys. The neighbor's dog is going crazy and it's fucking killing me, man. Because I can't
don't
be
see
like
that.
muting, bro. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, you
No
don't see that
problem.
much
I have
margin
to.
in some of them.
You see the
And
exaggerated humpy curvature of this life, though, so it's a
yeah,
lot like the fake curvature in Pontchartrain.
yeah, but what you see is you know that those train tracks are not on a perfectly flat surface. Which is why we get that same curved effect over a curved surface. I mean, if you looked at Pontchartrain, right, and let's say Pontchartrain was a 2x4, would you buy that 2x4?
Once I looked at it from the side and saw it was flat like at Pontchartrain, yeah.
No, but if you look at it, that's not how you buy wood. When you go to Home Depot and you buy a piece of wood, you look at it end on, right, to see if it's curved or not. And if it's curved, would you still buy it?
You'd see how flat it was by looking at it from the side.
Yeah,
I know,
I'll
but if it
reshare.
was
I'll
curved,
reshare that clip so we get it in the background so we know what we're talking about.
but
Sorry about that. I took it out.
if it was curved, would you buy it?
No. To determine whether it was curved, though, I'd look at it from the side.
You mean like the long way, or you look at it end on?
From the side, extending left to right the long way.
Yeah,
That
but
way
the
you can
best
tell
way
from
to
the
look at
side.
it, would be to look at it end on.
Yeah,
No,
just
you
like
have to look at it from the side. Otherwise,
you
you
actually
get weird Pontchartrain curvature or whatever.
yeah. No, but Lemon, just giving it real. Hold on? Let me open this as an example. Have you bought lumber or done anything like this? Because actually, when you buy lumber, let me share this screen. I mean, it's kind of by logic rule of people that construct and build shit. If you look in a piece of wood, it's gonna look like this pole cube. It's gonna look straight, you know. It's gonna look pretty straight. You say, all right, this is one nice piece of wood for the frame of my door or whatever, right? 2x4, treated really good. But then you take it home and when you put it in, you go like, the fuck is this? It's bending because it actually has a physical curve on it, and the best way to look at it is looking at it like head on, like this long way. Like you put the tip
No,
of
you look
the
at it from the
wood in
side.
your eyes. Yeah.
Yeah, you look at it from the side because if you look at it, it's going to be going through more air layers than just going left to right, side to side. One would assume that it's going through a more uniform air layer left to right, like with Pontchartrain, as opposed to going, forward and back through more progressive air layers.
But
So
do you
you're
see?
going to need to look at it at least in one air layer and side to side, at least to affords the opportunity to do that, assuming the air layer is in, one location.
Lemon.
Hold on. An 8 feet piece of wood, an 8-foot piece of 2x4 lemon bird. How many inside a freaking Home Depot or Lowe's? How many air layers is going through? You grab the piece of wood, you put it in front of you like you're like jousting, like you got a sword pointing at your opponent head on, and you look to the tip of the wood, and then just kind of look at it from all the angles and see if it's curving. So you will see something like this in the right. So you will see if the wood is curved or not. You're not going to be able to determine it if you're looking at it
So
like
you'd
this
be
sideways.
likely to have different air layers that go through left to right than forward and back, like at Pontchartrain. And so anyway, when you're buying wood anyway, you're probably going to go through one air layer either way, left to right or forward and back. But in general, if we're dealing with all these weird air layers, left to right would be best, like poncha train, as opposed to forward and back, since you're going to go through more layers on the way to the observer.
The layers would be stacked like books on a bookshelf instead of stacked vertically on top of each other, which is weird.
You also have air pockets forward and back, like in the Black Swan photo. You have air pockets forward and back, more air pockets than left to right. But these photos are pretty interesting. They appear to be showing the swamp gas and the ash refraction that we see with Lake Pontchartrain.
Hey, Jose, I just posted a picture of.
Oh.
If you're talking, you're all busted up. You went quiet.
Can you hear me now?
There we go.
So the picture I posted in Discord, I know the one that Doofus posted as well is a pretty good one as well. But the two pieces of wood, would you buy the one on the left or the one on the right?
I don't see it.
It's in Daily Bowling Center at 37 past the hour.
I'd buy the one on the right.
Obviously, right? Because it appears to be more straight. And the one on the left appears to be more curved.
Right. And I'd also
Now,
look at the side just to verify that it's not a hump floor or something weird. But I'd probably buy the one on the right.
Okay, so the next one I just posted, clearly the one on the left is curved, right?
Yes.
And it's not the air or anything making it curved.
Yeah, it could be physically curved, or it could be air pockets making it look deceptively curved. It could be either one. So to narrow down the options, we try to look at it from the side, trying to narrow down the number of air layers the object is going through to see if it's giving a more or less uniform image, something that's, more or less uniformly flat looking or hazy and wavy and deceptively curved looking or whatever.
You do realize we're talking about a 6-foot piece of wood here. We're not talking about air pockets. The homogeneity of the air across 6 or 8 feet.
It's probably going to be homogeneous, yes. But with Pontchartrain, going through much more layers and much more distance, we're going to need to look at it from the side to see if it's swamp gas in the ash refraction or an actual curved shape.
Okay, let me ask you another question. If let's say we had these two pieces of wood, both of them we're looking both of them at the side. If one of them was curved by half an inch, do you think you'd be able to tell?
Probably not. I wouldn't be able to tell unless water was on top of it. I need to see if water runs off of it or if it stays on top like it's level or something, but probably wouldn't be able to tell, no.
So the best way to tell would be to look at it end on. Then you could really tell if it was curved.
No, it could just be refraction through different air layers. You need to look at it through the side, through at least one uniform layer. And assuming, layers, are changing, from front to back or head on, to the end or whatever, you need to look at it from the side in the most uniform air layer possible, one would assume. At least
we're still talking about a 6-foot piece of wood, right?
Again, I don't think the air is going to change that much within 6 feet to make it look curved.
So, but in the case of Pontchartrain, with the analogy of Pontchartrain and the curvature of the Earth over greater distances, a side-on view would be preferable.
Do you think a side-on view would be better to determine the straightness of something?
You'd be
Then
going
an
through
end
less
on
air
view.
layers at least forward to back. You'd be in one, or as few air layers as possible in a 2D sense, left to right. It would just be one left to right air layer. And if there are any discontinuities to left to right, you'd see the bridge, doing weird stuff, up, down, or whatever. But at least you'd minimize the number of layers you'd be going through, at least in the forward to back sense anyway. And that's why puncture train looks very straight from the side. You don't have all those weird air layers to go through.
I don't think that if we had two pieces of wood and one was curved by less than half a degree, if one was curved less than half a degree, you'd be able to tell one from the other. I don't think so. I think the best way to determine that would be to look at it end on. That's just in my opinion.
All right, now I'm solid here. Let me share one of the images that you were talking about here. Sorry about that. My laptop froze there for a minute.
Yeah, it's the most recent one at 38 after the hour.
Got it. Yeah. Change the window, and it should be this one right here. I don't know if you're watching my screen share. Boom. Not good.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we can literally tell the one on the left is curved and the one on the right is straight by looking at it end on. Now, if we're looking at it from the side, you really
wouldn't be able to determine. Yeah, we wouldn't.
You might be able to. The more it's curved, you might be able to. But if it's a very, very, very slight curve, you're not going to be able to tell.
Yeah. True that.
Lake Pontchartrain is just pseudo perspective from extremely compressed zoom.
So, do you think we'd be able to compress the one on? Will we be able to compress the one on the right and somehow make it curved?
Let me ask you something about on the bridge. You see the waterways where I don't care. I don't care. I'm going to present what I want to say without your question. Okay, you can ask questions later. You don't have to answer it. No, that's your prerogative. You don't have to answer shit.
Yeah, you don't have to answer.
You got the humps on the bridge.
Right? He doesn't have to answer your question, but just to be clear, he asked you a question and you just want to go through with your question.
I started the conversation and I want to present my case for the pseudo
wait. I was saying something. So you came in, you made a comment. People say, "All right, let me ask you something." He asked a question, and just because you just push through.
Okay, well, I'm not going to answer his question either.
Let me finish. Got it. We're going to take longer because I'm going to start. Let me explain the situation. You came in the conversation, which I appreciated. You made a comment, and then Earth is Live asked you a question. They say, well, if you think this, then this happens. And you say, well, let me ask you a question. So you brush through the question of people, and you want to ask us a question, ask the group over here in the voice, and ask the chat box a question. So you're just going to totally ignore Bevo's question and go ahead with your question? That is my question to you, and I hope you can answer it. Do you want to just ignore Bevo's question and you want to go through with your question? Go ahead.
Let B-Ball ask his silly question, but then I get to ask him a question and he has to return the favor.
I already asked it.
I didn't hear
it. Of course. So if we compress the image on the right, is it going to curve?
I don't know what image you're talking about. I just joined in a little while ago and I wasn't watching anything.
Are you paying attention?
I just sat down with a cup of coffee. You know what? I can't watch every second. Do you watch every second?
No. We're talking about a picture, a piece of wood that you buy, lumber, 6 foot or 8 foot long piece of wood. That's what we've been talking about.
Yeah, and what about it?
That when you buy wood, and you cannot just grab the wood and stand across the aisle and look at the wood left to right and say, this one is straight, grab it and buy it, because when you put it in your wall, it might be curved. When you buy wood, you look in front like you got holding a sword or you jousting. That's how you hold a piece of wood to see if it's straight.
Yeah, you can look at it at certain angles. You can see if there's a curve.
Look at it end on, right?
You can look at it over the surface. You can just angle down to the surface. You can hold it flat out in front of you and take a slanted view down the thing and tilt it up and down where you can see if there's a curve or if it's flat.
Yeah, you look at it from the end, right? That'd be the best way to
look at it
tell
from many different areas. You can look at it from many different views. Do you just look at one direction?
The best way to do it will be end on, right?
That's probably from the top of the surface over to the back end.
So if Pontchartrain was a piece of wood,
if it's a flat, let's say it's like a thin flat board, you would take the flat part, put it in front of you, out in front of you, and you would look over the surface. You can see if if that board's curved.
So if Pontchartrain was a 2x4, would you buy it?
Okay, when is it my turn?
I
answered your question.
Go ahead.
Okay. So at Lake Pontchartrain, we have those waterways, right? Where the bridge humps in those two spots. Right? You see the big extreme hump, right?
Yeah. The 4 of them.
Right, is it
4? Yeah, 4 of them.
Well, there might be 4. I'm not sure exactly.
Yeah, the two big ones is like the clearance for the boats. The 2 big ones, the clearance every 8 miles, the clearance of the boats, and every 4 miles there's an extra one or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now we know that those humps aren't extreme like you see them in the video, right? They're not like practically straight up and down like we see in the video, right? That's compression. That's the extreme compression of the extreme zoom on whatever is P900 or P1000, whatever you used. You also have that same effect on the water surface in the distance. That's why it looks like it's extremely going up and then dropping down. It's the same thing. It's extreme compression of the background into the foreground. It gives a foreshortening effect. You have a natural foreshortening effect when you look at things from a side view, right? Off in the distance, the things will look closer together, and they're gradually getting smaller, and they look closer together. Now, when you got extreme, excuse me, I have cream in my coffee, and it gives me phlegm sometimes. You have extreme compression, and when you add the P900, it makes it even worse. It exaggerates everything, makes it into what it's not. It's a 2-dimensional picture trying to represent 3 dimensions, and it can't do it. And it's the extreme zoom. Those humps aren't like that. They're not straight up and down, and neither is the water. The water has the same effect with the natural perspective. It's just a foreshortening.
So the marine spans being not flat causes compression to make them look the way they do. So
no, they're not flat in the regular.
So the water being not flat causes the compression to do the same thing.
No, it's the extreme compression of the background into the foreground by the P900.
Yeah, so this
you
is
have
like
that naturally does it with just your natural eyesight to some extent because you have foreshortening wherever you have an angle to a surface that's not dead on.
So yeah, so it's a small hump. It's a few feet of difference. Let's say 20 feet. When you're driving across the bridge, you barely feel it. You're just taking a nice, very small hill, and you're just driving across. When you look at it, because it's higher, the point is curvature in it, physical curvature in it. Then when you compress it and you got this extreme optical compression that you say, yeah, we see the curve exaggerated. That's why we see a curve in the Pontchartrain Bridge, because it's a slight curve. That's why we see this slight curvature of the Earth exaggerated. Thank you very much. Welcome to the globe.
No, you have the same thing. That compression affects the whole picture. That's why where the horizon naturally slants up, it's a foreshortening effect to see a horizon, because your angle over the surface becomes too narrow to see any more surface detail, and it just forms a line, right? But when you have that, it's a slanting up we see everywhere we are, right? The foreground or the ground seems to slant up towards our eye level. It's the same thing, only now it's exaggerated with the P900 to make it look even worse, and all the other exaggerations make it look like everything's just suddenly dropping behind it, when in fact it's just stuff that's very far away and extremely compressed up, and you don't see the natural slant like you see with normal perspective.
Earth is life. The point that I made. Makes sense? We are gonna use all the points from Gary Webenga, yeah, because you're using the zoom camera is exaggerating the curve, and this in real life is not like that. You don't even see it. You don't have to drive up and down a hill, yeah, because it's a slight curve to it, and it exaggerates it because the Earth has curvature, and you're using the lens also. It's exaggerating the curve, like we see over here in the picture. Thank you very much. Yeah, great point, Gary. I'm gonna use it.
Actually, I have a video with a stanchion line for cows. You know, where it's in a feedlot. It's one of my earlier videos, and all I did was lowered my camera and put it on an angle to the stanchion line, and it makes the same look. It looks bent at the end, even though it's a perfectly straight line. It's a stanchion line. They're all measured. They're all set in place. It's all nice and straight.
How do you know the ground underneath it is straight too? What are they attached to?
Put it this way. I can, where this feedlot was, there is a very slight slope for drainage, right? Because they have flush systems in their lanes for the manure. You can take that same picture from either end. It does the same effect. Doesn't matter if the ground is slanting upward or ground is slanting downward. You're still going to get the same effect because it's a foreshortening effect. And I didn't even have zoom. It was just the natural camera. It was just a camera.
All right, Earth is live and then Leo.
Line.
Earth is live and then Leo.
I'd like to see that picture. Anyway, so I posted another picture.
May I link that one video in Daily Boom?
I think I was in the middle of saying something.
I'm sorry, but I want to ask Jose. So before I forget, and I won't post it. May I post that one video in your Daily Boom, Jose?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Okay, I'll do it.
So here's the problem I have with
Really quick, Leo. I'm sorry, man. I just want to say something. I posted the other picture of the same pieces of wood, and I just flicked it. So how come we don't get that same curving effect with the wood on top? If you're able to look at your phone, Gary.
I know he'll run away from my point, so go ahead.
No, go ahead, Leo. You're out. That's all. I'm done.
No, he's muted because he's maybe on his phone multitasking. Yeah, he's had it on the phone to, stay on mute and maybe hot. So yeah, when he'll post his video, then he'll be back in a minute. Shout out to Tommy Grumble. If you guys want to check on the links he posted, videos from Soundly and better examples than the still picture, please go ahead.
I hate the picture itself. I want flat earthers to answer the question about the model that was made from the GPS data and it having curvature in it. Why will they never talk about that? It has nothing to do with foreshortening, has no optical effects. It's just a model of the GPS data and there's curvature.
All right, I got Gary's video in here. I see the cows in the thumbnail. Do I have to play audio, Gary, or no? No audio?
I don't care. There's really not. I don't know if there's any.
Gary, first question is, how do you know that road is perfectly flat?
Effective. It doesn't have to be perfectly flat. It's just flat. It's just showing the stanchion line. Who gives a shit about the ground right there? Just look at the stanchion line at the top of the stanchion line and look what it looks like. That's all I'm asking. We're not even talking about the ground here. We're just talking about the top of the stanchion line.
But how do you know that the ground, because those stanchion lines, as you call them, are attached to the ground, right? They're all the same height above the ground, right?
The ground only has a very slight slope towards the other end because it's for drainage. They have flush systems and they have to drain it down to the drains when they flush the lanes to keep them clean.
How do you know that there's not a slight curve in the ground?
Because they pour the concrete to make it. Yes, they pour the concrete. That's why. Okay, you know how they pour concrete. They don't make big curves. Otherwise, you would have water standing all the time. They don't want water standing. They want the water to drain to the other end with a slight slope. So if you had a curve in that, you would have puddles. They don't. They don't want puddles.
So there's a slight
Okay, but all you have to look at is the stanchion line. The stanchion line is they put out their little lines and they have them all set to the same point because you got to have your stanchions be able to close, and they've got long iron or long rods through them that you turn a handle on, so it has to be straight. You can't have it curved, or they'll all bunch up, and you won't be able to open and shut your stanchions. They make everything straight.
You need to make sure that the curvature is seen from all sides. If you see curve from one side but not the other, perhaps it's an optical effect. If we're on a uniform sphere of any sort, assuming uniformity, we should see it from all sides, but we don't see that even with Pontchartrain. We see it curve in an exaggerated way from one angle, but flatten from another. So it may be an optical effect.
I could care less about the pictures.
Cylinder Earth. What was that, Leo?
I can care less about the pictures and the video. Tell me about the GPS data and the modeling of that data, and how come in the data, which has no foreshortening or any optical effects, shows curvature.
Coincidence. It's like looking at a clock that stopped, Leo. You're going to get the correct time at least twice a day. If you coincidentally take a snapshot at that particular time and instance, it's the same thing with the Pontchartrain, swamp gas, and the gas photo. You take it at the right time, it will be a nice photo op, but nothing more. There's no causal linkage beyond that. It's just like a broken clock, Leo. Right, maybe once or twice, but
hold on,
no more.
Hold on, Lemon and Leo. Hold on, Lemon and Leo. Leo, because the thing is, unfortunately, you're changing the topic now. You say you don't care about, but Leo, give me a chance. Unfortunately, you're changing the topic because you say I don't care about the pictures, I don't care about the videos. How about this data? This is raw. This is the math, right? But that's unfortunate because right now we're not talking about that. We're talking about pictures and videos, Leo. So you want to bring it down to videos and pictures? Go ahead.
Yeah, but the problem is they'll never want to talk about the actual GPS data that shows that the Earth has curvature because they'll want to harp on the pictures. Who cares about pictures? Let's talk about
We care about pictures today. That's the show today, Leo. I'm sorry, Leo. One day or another day, maybe later today, in an hour or two, maybe we'll talk about data points and GPS. Today, now we're talking about pictures. You don't care. I know you don't care. I don't care either much. I actually care about pictures. It's interesting to look at them, but that's the topic today. So, Leo, take it or leave it.
Well, I was just saying, if we're going to get back to that or whatever, it's a broken clock fallacy. But what were we saying about this picture or whatever?
It's not a broken clock fallacy, but Jose doesn't want to talk about it, so never mind.
Okay.
We got a bunch of more pictures to share. I got a bunch of more pictures and videos to share. And Leo want to shut me down. It's not gonna work out today, Leo. Sorry. Today's the video about pictures and videos. That's the show today. Got it. We've been watching this on a loop for a bit. You want to explain to us what we got here?
Yeah, all I'm going to do is just change the angle from being high to low, and you're going to watch that stanchion line and watch how it looks like it bends. And it's not zoomed in at all. It's just a normal camera. But it's going to make that stanchion line bend or look bent. Now, when you have it's a feed lot for they raise heifers for dairies there. It's a feed lot. And so they just have like these stanchion lines. You can see how it looks like it's bending down there. Right? Because that's foreshortening down there, and it gives that bent look. It's not bent.
I can see it curving.
How do you know?
But it's not curving. It's not. But when you
Gary,
get the extreme zoom, sorry.
How do you know that the ground is perfectly flat, Gary?
We're not even looking at the ground here, are we? We're looking at the stanchion line.
Those things are attached to the ground, and they're all the same height, are they not?
You're actually a waste of time because you're just going to always have an excuse like that. You saw what it did. There's no big curves in this concrete, because if you had big curves, you would also have problems with drainage. That means you would have a hump
about a
up.
big curve, Gary.
There's no curve at all. These are flat lanes with a very slight slope for drainage towards the other end, the far end.
Well, we would have to assume that water seeks a flat level, but the Globers have assumed that it conforms to a ball. So they start with foundational assumptions that really mangle their thought and keep them from solving the problem properly. But as far as I can tell, you have shown visually that there is some sort of deceptive optical curvature here, like in Soundly's swamp gas photo. So I think you've done some pretty good work here, Mr. Wabanga. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. The Lake Pontchartrain though is extreme zoom, and it's way farther in distance, which even compounds all that effect. And that's what you're saying, and that's why you see those marine humps on the bridge. They look ridiculous, and that's because of extreme compression of the background into the foreground. It's total pseudo perspective. It's not real. It's not what you see in real life.
Pseudo perspective. I like that.
Yep.
There's a quick question over here from John Rapp, Gary. Do you know how high the Earth curve over 100 meters and in your concrete pour?
What?
Can you ask Gary if he knows how high the Earth curve is over 100 meters as in his concrete pour? You know, as when you pour the concrete,
no curve.
You know how high?
There's no curve in the concrete. They do it in little sections. They have a very slight slope for water drainage when they flush the lanes, and so it's very slight, but it has to be there. Otherwise, it'll all.
It's not perfectly flat.
But
I already told you that many times. It's flat, but it's not level. I mean, it's not. Yeah, it's flat, but it's not level.
Look, Gary, I put Justin Franks posted an image, and he looks straight to me. The posts. See it?
No, it looks bending down there, doesn't it? Come on now, be honest.
Well, let me hold on. Let me paste this again. You can click on the image and look at it. Look at an orange line through the pipe. It is straight.
Yes, it is straight. Now put it on the top line. Put it on the top of the post.
I see the curvature myself.
It's pretty obvious. It's some kind of an optical effect. And you can do this. I could go to the other side and point it the other way and get the very same effect by lowering my camera and being a little to the side.
It's not an optical effect. It's because
everything's optical.
Whatever those things are attached to the ground, that ground is not perfectly flat.
That ground is flat.
How do you know?
Because when they put concrete, they put it in little sections.
Gary, I did the videos of the light disappearing bottom up in the supermarket floor, which is smaller than this span of land that you got here. This is in the outside, a supermarket floor, and that supermarket floor was curved as a motherfucker. It's a supermarket floor, bro. It was all kinds of humps and bumpiness and shit. You're telling me that this floor cannot be other than flat when even a supermarket floor is not flat.
Because these stanchions and stuff, they have to have all the things at equal heights with the cables and the bars, right? They keep them so they have their lines that they set out to make sure that they're attached at the proper place in these things, and to keep them all nice and straight. And that's how they do all this stuff. Those are straight. Everything else is straight. You're seeing the posts look like they're bending. We're not even looking at the ground. I'm not even. This is not even.
He did another image. Look in the post in the top. Look at the image he just posted. From the post in the top that you say they're curved. I'm gonna repost it so you can click and see it. You see in the, not in the first one because we don't know what the top is, but look, the post, look at the line in the top of the post. It's straight. Look, it's straight. Nothing's curved in there.
It looks curved. It's an effect. Just like that's let's just take that top cable with the bar and that's exactly how a railroad track looks if you're on that angle to a railroad track. If you stand in the middle of the track, it looks like the two sides are converging towards the center. If you stand on the left side of the track, it looks like the right side is converging towards the left side, and vice versa. These are optical effects, and they're very easy to do. They're very easy to replicate, and there is no zoom involved in this. It's just the regular camera. So if you have the extreme zoom from a very far distance where it really compresses that back you won't get the natural slant like you would see with the telephone poles going down the road. You're going to get a distorted one that looks like it's curved because they compressed all that back. Each succeeding post will be compressed even more towards the front and not in their natural slanting order like you would see with just near normal eyes. And so it gives it a bent look.
I'm gonna switch the
It's
screen
pseudo
share.
perspective.
I'm gonna switch the screen share. I got a quick image I want to share. It's from the SD card. I just start scrolling, and I found this fantastic image. Now, I don't know if how do I do it? If I copy
Oh, this
and
is
I
from
paste
Sly. I already showed Sly.
what?
This is
Are
from
you seeing my screen
Sly.
share? You see my screen share?
Yeah, I'm
No,
looking
this
at
is
it.
my image taken by my
Oh.
P900 in Galveston, Texas. This is my image from my SD card. I got a bunch of images in this SD card, like a shit lot of them. Look at this. How cool, man. Look like these houses are cut halfway by the water or some sort, and it is crazy.
Are you screen sharing, Jose? Are you screen
Cut
sharing?
my perspective.
I'm sorry,
Oh.
people. What was that?
No, I was just, never mind. I got it.
Yeah,
I
I'm
see what
sorry.
you're showing.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, look at these houses. They look like they're just, I mean, these houses are not that small. The roof is not like almost touching the horizon, you know? That's not what's really happening in real life. Look at that, another one.
Cut by perspective.
You got to get some good flood insurance.
Man.
Looks like what I would expect over a curved surface.
Yeah, me too.
Except right there's no curvature. It looks more like a perspective optical trick than
exactly what I would expect over a curved surface. And anyone would agree.
Yeah, that's crazy. These houses aren't built like that. Probably these houses, because it's in the shore across a little, body of water. But they're probably like 2 stories, like long legs in the bottom of the houses, probably with the parking lots in the bottom. That's usually the setup of this type of houses, you know.
You know what? Those look suspiciously like the ones I post.
Right.
Well, there's a limit to how much flat plane your eye can represent visually. Even though the place is really big that we live on, there's a limit to how much your eye can represent it optically. And that limit will get even smaller if you're even closer to the surface. So eventually the horizon will form and it will look obstructed, bottom first. It's just the way it is.
I can look at that. I can probably find those houses on the Google Earth. Look at this. What's going on here, man? It's like the top of the church is floating away. Oh no, that's probably the top of a boat somewhere in the air, like ship or something.
Look, I can get the same effect in my picture.
Yeah, man.
Your
I got
eye
a lot
can
of goodies, man. In this one. I think this one is. Let me see. Let me scroll forward a little bit. I think this is probably the lighthouse, the famous lighthouse. Hold on, let me go back a tiny bit. And then this building, that big building is a 30 stories condominium. Let me pause this when it's time. Scrolling right there. But it's coming through. Yeah, there was a lot to look at, man, in that area. I really enjoyed taking footage there. Hold on, where's the damn lighthouse? Damn it. Come on, Jose. Get your shit straight. Oh, there you go. Boom. There you go. This is the lighthouse, the blue and white, which is, if you can count them, is 7 stripes. So you can see the layout over here. This is a body of water which stops right here. This is a few miles away from where I am, right? And then in this, I cannot zoom it in. And then in here, a few miles away from me, there's like a tree line, there's a little bit of trees and stuff. Further away than that, over a bunch of more land, then there's this lighthouse, super far away, like, I don't know, 15 miles away or whatever. And this is 7 lines. This is the top right here. Then you got 1 square blue, 1 square white. It should be another square blue, white. There's 7 of these. 7 of these. I mean,
you're never going to see those
in the same
because
they're behind
angle,
these
you're
trees.
never going to see them
Because they're behind these trees.
Yes, you got an angle up over the trees, right?
Yeah, but
you're below the tops of the trees, so that angle is going to block everything underneath it because you actually have an angle up over them, going on an angle upward.
Okay, got it. So if you
and the lighthouse is much further.
So if you take the distance between this right here, I'm not counting the tippy top. I'm counting the top of the blue to this bottom of the white. If you double this distance from here to here, it's going to be pretty much exactly from here to here. That's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Where are the other 3?
So are you going to tell me that it's all
There's
behind the
another
curve?
blue, white, and blue.
Is that what you're going to tell everybody?
No, that's what we've seen. There are 7.
So you're going to tell me that bottom that you say you can't see is over a curve?
Yes.
Well, you got to determine what's going on. I mean,
it's compressed into your vanishing zone. You have 2 things that govern your field of view. It's your elevation over the surface. The higher you are, the deeper the distance at the depth that center frame is. The lower you are, the shorter that is. And everything in it cannot, once things are moved past that point, they compress into it. You're just simply not going to resolve them.
It's like this.
But it's going to be bottom first.
Bill, 2 more points.
And all angles are not equal.
Hold on, Gary. Now, 2 more points. This is a water tower. Water towers are not that short. I mean, even though this is the dirt, like at the end, and you got a little hill of the dirt closer to you, that's why it look big, and then you got a fencing. So even though if you add the body, the length of the body to this until this bottom of the dirt behind this, this water tower is not like that. It's like long, really long neck, and then you got the head of the thing. This is 30 stories building, which I got a very clear one, and you can probably count maybe 12 to 15 floors counting the squares when it's really clear. And if you add a few more, you're still missing like 10 stories of this building. This is a 30 stories condominium, which we are missing like 10 starting right here. I mean, it's crazy, man, to deny that.
That's the eye can't represent it symmetrically, Jose. You're too close to the ground, and the eye needs to be higher to symmetrically represent the object equally. Your eye is not going to represent it because you don't have symmetry, Jose. You're 6 feet off the ground, but you have 100 foot of object to represent in your visual scene, and you're too close to the ground to do that. You only have 6 feet of symmetry, and past that, you're going to get bottom-up obstruction because you're too close to the ground.
That's a form of special bleeding, by the way.
That's what we see, and that appears to be the best explanation for G50s. P-Brain and others are showing bottom-up obstruction simply by getting closer to the surface.
So this is what we see, right? These effects look exactly as if the surface is curved, right? This is the way we see it. Okay, it behaves exactly what we would expect over a curved surface, and you can't sit here and say that over a curved surface this effect wouldn't happen. You cannot sit here and say.
I think we have a broken clock fallacy with the Pontchartrain crap, and we see a flat horizon that we're trying to explain away with simplified curvature, but it's not working. It's more like visual compression where you're too close to the surface, and the eye can't represent all this visual information symmetrically, so some of it is just simply covered over, pasted over, or dropped. Like you can see the ground rising up. It's like a point.
Last point on this video.
What's beyond.
Last point in this video. This video is fantastic. I'm gonna probably upload it and point a couple stuff. This is I think it's called the Hartman Bridge over there on Galveston, and it is I think it's 27 miles away from me. This is hundreds of feet, maybe 450, 500 feet from the bottom, from the surface of the water to the top of this, 400 plus feet. Now, this is those big lines in like a triangle shape. You got the big bars holding this bridge, and then you should have the bridge and a clearance of over 100 feet under the bridge. So you got the bridge over water. You got this bridge built over water with a clearance of over 100 feet from the surface of the water to the bridge, and then you got like 300 plus feet in top of the bridge, which is all this extension. You can see all these hanging lines. There's no bottom of the bridge. From the bottom of the bridge down to the clearance of the bridge, nothing is visible in this clip.
It's just a fancy.
And I got another ones are better, but
it's a fake image represented by the eye as best as possible, Jose.
Fake image. This is a video that I took
of the surface ramping upward is effectively covering over what's happening in the background, like holding a coin in front of a car. Your eye is trying to symmetrically represent it as best as possible, but the fake image, effigy, or whatever of the surface appearing to ramp up is covering over all the stuff in the background, and you're getting bottom-up obstruction.
No, it's just curvature. Very, very simple.
No, left to right, there's no curvature. It's flat.
It doesn't have to be all this. It doesn't have to be all this convoluted nonsense about the surface ramping up and all this nonsense. It's just a curved surface. Your eye is trying to represent the visual scene as symmetrically as possible, but the fake phantom effigy that it constructed to represent the flat surface ramping upward is going to appear to cover over what's happening in the background, and you're going to get bottom-up obstruction because you're too close to the surface, and the surface is effectively flooding out your visual scene. That's all. What about when we're really far from the surface? What was that? What about when we're really far from the surface? And
we got cows. We
You're
got
going
some
to get the
cows
same
mooing.
thing eventually occurring.
We got a cow mooing. We got a cow mooing in the background because I got 2 super chats now. I'm sorry because when the super chat is ringing, the cows are mooing and the cowbells are going crazy. Shout out to Mr. Victory's Radio. He say, where will you find a cow who's having a really bad day? Where will you find a cow who is really having a bad day, Lemon? At McDonald's.
Jose, I'm posting 2 images that I took from about 250 feet above sea level.
All right.
Same effect.
I'll share those. Let me read the second super chat. This is Doofus Manfred. Thank you for the $5. Doofus, appreciate it. Doofus say, Lemon's asymmetrical vision, that's in quotes, Lemon's asymmetrical vision is special pleading. Light from different locations must behave differently, and affirming the consequent. Earth is flat. Oite, Lemon. Your asymmetrical vision is a special pleading because light from different locations must behave differently, you think, I guess. And affirming the consequent.
So I took one image of a boat and I waited, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes. And I took another image of the same boat. And you can literally see how the boat just is blocked by the water. I didn't move.
No,
The boat moved.
it's compressed into the vanishing zone.
Yeah,
The
but I'm
vanishing
not
zone
going
is always at center frame if your camera is held out level, right? If you point it level, it's always at center frame. If you lower
I'm
your
pointing
camera,
down.
it's at center frame. If you go up 300 feet, it's still at center frame. All you do by going up is you increase the distance to that point. That's all. It's just, and then you're going to have the same effect happen there, just further out. But if you have a boat that's half hidden and you go up 200 feet, all of a sudden that boat is not only going to be completely visible, but you're going to see far beyond it in a horizon that's slanting up towards your eye level. So it's always an optical effect. It's nothing to do with curvature.
I got your first image up.
So Gary, like I've asked you before, and I think you've already agreed with me. If the Earth was curved, would things get hidden from the bottom up?
Yes, but that's not what's happening in reality. Just because it can happen doesn't mean it's what's happening.
Why is it not happening?
Your problem is you assume that's what actually is happening, but you can't prove it at all. But we can show the optical effects all day long.
Gary, we prove it every time we show images of things getting blocked from the bottom up.
No,
Yes,
you don't.
do.
They're not blocked. They're just hidden. You just simply can't resolve. Once you got the ground that's going up towards center frame, nothing can take its place. No matter how high you go, it's still going to go up to center frame. That whole bottom half to the surface is going to take up that whole bottom half of your
What
view.
do you mean by center frame? What if I point?
If you hold your camera out level, you're pointing towards the horizon 90 degrees from your perpendicular.
What if I point my camera so that the boat is in the bottom left hand corner of the image?
Okay, we're talking. Then you're just going to change your field of view for the camera, but the horizon still remains in its same place because it's positioned by relation to your elevation over the surface.
Yeah, but what
if you tilt your camera, you have a whole different field of view. You're not even looking at the horizon in particular. You're looking at something straightforward from your camera.
Right, so it doesn't have anything to do with center frame.
No, it's nothing to do with center frame.
I specifically said if you're pointing towards the horizon 90 degrees from your perpendicular, that's what we normally think of when we talk about pointing and looking at the horizons, right? We're not talking about pointing our cameras at our toes or straight up in the sky, right? We're not talking about that, right? I shouldn't have to explain this.
If I point my camera down and I put the boat at the top right of the image,
it's going to disappear off your screen if you zoom in on the ground.
But I can still see the boat at the top corner of the screen.
Okay, if you start without zoomed in, start without zooming in. Just have the boat at the tilt your camera down. Have the boat at the very top of your screen. Now zoom in and see what happens. That boat will go off your screen.
I don't understand why we're still having this conversation. You've already agreed that over curved surface things would get hidden bottom up. I don't know why we're still having this conversation.
Of course, I've said that. Why wouldn't it? I've got hills going. Sometimes we go to the casino. My wife likes the casino. Sometimes we go there. There's rolling hills. Cars go up, down, disappear from your view. Would you call that a curve? Yeah, it's a curve. It's a hump, right? Of course, you guys don't like to call it a hump. You guys don't like it to call it a hump, but the fact is, yes, something can disappear, but it has a completely different appearance to something like when I see the car go up and then down, you can actually kind of see the tilt of the car as it goes up and over the curve, over the hump of the hill.
Why is that any different over water?
Because on the water, you don't see the boat making a tilt downward as it's going over the hump. It's just leveling out. It's just moving at a level. You can see when a boat, it looks like it's climbing up the water in the distance. The boat itself isn't tilted on an upward slant like it's climbing up a slope.
Gary, do you think you would see a tilt if it was curved 1 degree in 69 miles?
Yeah, I think you would. If buildings were tilted, you would see it.
Wow, Gary.
But the fact is, all you guys did, just because you can say something will disappear bottom first over a bump, doesn't mean that's what's happening on the water or on a flat surface. Because we can literally show you the visuals over and over again of the optical effects of raising and lowering a camera. Just that alone shows how dumb your idea of a curve is, because everything straightens out and lifts up to the center frame again. And the boat that was half hidden is now fully visible with the horizon beyond it. Going up,
raising and lowering the camera over a surface that you don't know is perfectly flat.
Okay, water is relatively flat. It has waves, but over distance, they foreshorten and it looks smooth. That's why when you look at the horizon, even if it's rough seas that day, if you go out to the ocean and you look from the beach to the horizon, it looks like a smooth line. The only way you'll see rough waves is if you zoom in on it and magnify those. But with your regular eyes, they just look like a smooth line across because it's all averaged out. It's all foreshortened. Your eyes just interpret it as a line across your field of view.
And that line is obscuring things that we should see on a flat.
No, the line doesn't obscure anything. It's the things that move past that point that are slicing off bit by bit at the bottom because the whole object is compressing. And so you get the Rayleigh criterion effect. You got the water line that's going to stay there. It's at the closest thing because you're close to the surface. So that water line is going to stay at that point. So now everything going beyond is just going to keep compressing. Let's say you have a 1 foot slice at the bottom of the boat above the water line. Now that boat moves another, half a mile past that horizon. You're not going to see that 1 foot slice anymore. It's going to become unresolvable as separate from the water. That's the Rayleigh criterion effect. Now that boat moves another mile. Now you're going to see the next section. You can't see it. It's actually the whole boat shrinking, but you can't tell because all those visible things like lines on the boat or letters on the sides or whatever, they all start becoming unresolvable and blending in with the water surface the farther the boat goes that past that visual optical horizon. It's just slicing off section by section by section, but it's not actually slicing section by section. It's just compressing each of those sections to the point where the bottom, being it's touching the surface, is going to be the first thing that becomes unresolvable at all times. So it can't be the top. Now you can have a mast or a pole sticking up from the ship that can become unresolvable because it's just thin.
Today, Gary, you gotta let me respond. Okay, so if what you're saying is true, I should at least start seeing this effect.
He's roboting.
Can you hear me?
You were not roboting for me. You were not roboting for me.
So if what you're saying is true, I should at least start seeing this effect over a somewhat of a short distance. If what you say is true, let's say about 90 feet, maybe a basketball court or something, or a tennis court. I should start seeing this.
It would depend on the size of your camera. If you got a P900 on a tennis court, you're not going to see it because you got too much zoom for a little short distance. Now, if you put your cell phone camera with the and make sure the lens and the back of your camera is close to the ground, you're going to start seeing those effects. Yes, very quickly. You guys like to take the big P900s, set it on the ground, and say, "Oh, look, I can still see it."
Gary, I got this
because you got a big lens and a zoom.
Gary, I got this image of the building. I kind of had it ready. This first one is there you go, from the video, taken from the video, and I'm just pointing over here until the little bit above the water. You got a little bit of land. Those dogs, you guys know that are not my dogs. My dogs bark like chihuahuas. That's the biggest dog from the neighbors. He hasn't stopped giving me a fucking headache. And then we got this as for a comparison. I just posted as for a comparison, taken from what the building actually is, how much we're missing over the water. What do you think about that, guy?
Because you're close to this building and you're also high above the ground right here, right? So you can see the whole building. Now, if you could take that camera and just simply send it on a drone and send it straight back, that whole center frame will start compressing into the center and visual information will disappear. It's not because it's not there. It just simply become unresolvable because center frame has a limit. If you're higher, it's just further out.
Do you see how much
it's closer?
Do you see how much is missing from the bottom of half of the building? You see that? But you see it, right?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, but like the question is, you see in the screen, right? You see in the picture the image that I got from the camera versus
yes, I understand, Jose.
Okay, got it. Okay.
See, Jose, the thing is that Gary's mind will not allow him to visually understand this over a curved surface. This will not allow him to do so.
I used your video with a boat, the D-ball, and that boat became completely unresolvable just by backing off the zoom.
Misrepresented what
and information became consumed.
And we'll have and I don't want to go in. Wait, go ahead. I'm sorry. Somebody else is trying to talk.
No. I'm just asking Gary if there's any way he could let you finish a sentence.
No,
he's talking, isn't he?
His mind won't allow him to do so. Anyway, we can go down that route too of compression and all that stuff, and you know how low quality video, things start to disappear because of the quality of the video. We can go down that route too.
So your video was low quality?
No, your screen recording of it was low quality.
Anybody can go watch your video and just watch it back off and see the exact same thing I'm talking about. Doesn't matter. Yeah, you might have a better quality, but you're still going to see the very same effect. They can go watch your video and see it. You backed off the zoom and it disappeared. That's with your high quality video. You simply have a limit. Based on, of course, it's the ability of the camera or the zoom compared to your natural eye. Because, Jose, you know, you can go out and zoom and it looks like a smooth water line at the horizon. But then you zoom in, you can start seeing more and more waves, right? You get more detail, right? You're magnifying what's in that far end of the angle that your eye couldn't. But that camera itself is going to have a limit based on the same angle. It's just going to resolve more detail for a little further than your eye will.
And eventually the fake image in the front will predominate over the fake images the eye or the camera is trying to form in the background, and you're going to get bottom-up obstruction. It's like holding a coin up in front of a car. The stuff in the foreground is eventually going to predominate and cover over whatever's happening in the background based off a visual angle alone, and the object will appear to disappear bottom first because you're too close to the surface.
Right, so something not flat in front of you, like a coin, can cause obstruction. Cool.
Yeah, and the surface appearing to ramp upward will cover over what's happening in the background and appear to make the object in the background disappear bottom first, covered over by the fake image of the floor ramping upward that the eye is trying to represent. If you want more symmetry, you got to get it higher.
Ramping. It isn't physically ramping.
We both agree to that.
On the surface is above the level of the surface, Lemon.
It is above it, okay, but the effigy that
So
the
the
eye
first
sees and
surface at the front,
represents is going to
the
have
fact
flooded
that you
vision,
don't
where the
understand
surface
that
is
there's
going
a
to
thing
cover
as three
over whatever is
dimensions.
happening above it, and you're just going to see bottom of
Blah.
obstruction because you're too close to the ground.
Cool story, bro.
The ground is
point
always
is
going to limit.
That just because the ground appears to ramp up, it doesn't mean it can actually physically ramp up and block something that's higher in the frame. It just can't happen.
This is one of those things. If we don't actually tell them, we know the water isn't ramping up, they'll think we think it actually is.
We both agree,
It's
but
because
you're
you're trying to attribute that. You're trying to attribute that property to it. You're saying it's ramping up.
Because it's a
and
perspective
blocking
thing. You
things.
see the angles; it appears to slant upwards. It's because of the angles from your eye to the
Yes,
surface.
and if anything
And
on
it
the surface
picks it up. That's why
ramps
it'll
up
pick
as
it up. The
well.
distance, the angle is different. The
Anything
distance,
on
it'll
the
pick up the
surface
road
ramps
to your
up as
center
well.
frame.
You listening, Gary? Anything
Yeah, I'm listening.
on the surface ramps up as well. It always
Yes.
maintains its position relative to the surface. So if the surface appears to ramp up, the thing above it appears to ramp up higher, not below it.
Who said
But
it
the
did?
thing
Who
is,
said it went
okay,
below
you
it?
need
You. It's literally what
No,
you're
I
saying.
didn't.
You're saying it blocks things.
But the
No,
thing is,
it just compresses into it.
Yeah, you need symmetry, LK, that you don't have because you're too close
No,
to the
you
ground.
don't need
If
symmetry,
you're 6
Lemon.
feet
That's
off the
bollocks.
ground, you can symmetrically represent visually 6 feet up and down from the level of the eyes, and anything beyond this zone will tend to compress bottom up. And you're going to get weird things as your eye tries to represent these fake images, these effigies in some sort of symmetrical fashion. It's just going to have to set bottom first. There's no way to
Again.
represent it symmetrically in the eye of the camera. There's just no
Cool
way.
story, bro. Symmetry has got nothing to do with it. And if you think it has, feel free to provide us with an actual demonstration.
Well,
And
if you're saying
I'll
that the
tell you how to do it, Lemon, if you don't know what to do, because obviously you never actually do anything for yourself. I'll tell
Well,
you how
my
to do
theory
it
is
if you want.
peerless and flawless. So if my theory is good enough to solve this problem, you can
theory
do all
is
the technical you
peerless
want
and
in the
flawless
world, but
in
you're
your
still not
own
going to solve the
head.
problem because your theory is shit.
Reality doesn't give a shit about what you think about yourself. Your ego is irrelevant here.
Anyway,
you can
this
make up as
theory
many
appears
silly
to
stories
encapsulate
to
what's
try and
going on
explain
much
reality
more
as you want,
adequately than
Lemon.
a ball
But it doesn't matter.
simplification.
It's still a story unless you can demonstrate it. You can't demonstrate
How
it.
the hell is the
All you
eye
got is
going to
stories.
represent 6 feet of object below the level of the eyes, symmetrically with 100 feet of object above the level of the eyes, Gary? The conditions aren't there. You
Do
guys
the
are begging the question
demonstration,
now, saying
Lemon.
that the eye can represent this symmetrically. It's impossible. Get higher.
Do the
So that you
demonstration,
can
Lemon.
have two halves of equal vision that can symmetrically represent the object.
Do the demonstration, Lemon. Stop talking
Hey, I
about
have
it and
I have a
demonstrate
video.
it.
Can I link that one in Daily Boom with the railroad just by lifting the camera up and down and how it changes the effects of what you see on the ground? Even though
I had an
the
image,
ground to
yeah.
eye level remains in the same point in the video, whether you're up or down.
I just had an image just up that Larry posted a little while ago. Hold on, I got it right here. There's no need to do that. Look at this screen. If you don't see it, I can copy and paste the link in the Daily Boom. It's going to be posted right about now. Tell me if that's what you're going to explain in a different, from a different angle.
Right, and if the ground's not actually ramping up, then that means the ground's not obstructing things. So
it's the angle.
It must actually be ramping up in some degree. It must have some sort of curvature to it.
Yeah, you wouldn't get that silhouette effect if it was actually a flat plane that the things you're looking at sticking up above were sitting on.
There's so much visual compression, you can't tell what's above or below anything. Eventually, the image is just cut off. You need to have symmetry up and down from the level of the eyes.
You do not need symmetry. And I've told you, Lemon, you can try and demonstrate it, and then you'll just shut everybody up, won't you? Because you can do a physical demonstration to explain this asymmetric problem in the visual field. And
the top half
I can
of
tell you
vision.
exactly how to do it, Lemon. It's really, really simple demonstration. Anybody can, I'm sure, can manage it.
Anyway, we need proper theory to actually interpret the facts adequately.
Let's go back to
From the level of the eyes
theory.
up, you have visual expansion where there's no surface in the way relative to from the level of the eyes down where you have compression because the surface is in the way and it appears to ramp up to the level of the eyes, compressing things very quickly. So you don't have symmetry in the two halves of vision, especially if you're close to the surface. You're going to have compression in the lower half of vision from the level of the eyes down and infinite expansion from the level of the eyes up. These two asymmetrical situations are going to lead to bottom-up compression or bottom-up disappearance.
You're just making stories up. You're
This
assuming
is the only theory that accounts for the
you're
fact
assuming that being closer
and
to the
guides
surface
people thinking well enough to
shallower
understand
angles
what's going on.
of light to
You're
hit
just
your
trying
eye
to
from the
stop
surface
thought
is going to
and
cause
say,
a
shut up,
blockage.
we've already thought about this already, and we're not going to innovate any further. You're just a fucking thought police. That's all that you are. You're a freaking
You're just a
thought
fucking
police.
repetitive
I got
who says the same shit about 50 times in one sentence, then repeats himself again and again without advancing any conversation. So why don't you take your holier than thou and shove it up your fucking ass?
All right. Let me put. I got two images up that I found interesting because remember the one I posted earlier, an image with the houses that you could see that I say like you cannot. I mean, these houses aren't built like that. Like the water must be blocking a lot of it. Remember, right? This image that I posted shared a few minutes ago, and you got these houses. I say these houses are really, are tall, probably two-story building with long legs built in it. So I found an image that I took from a little higher up, extra feet higher above the ground, and what do we see? Indeed, look at that. They are built in top of like long legs. Just by lifting the camera up a few feet, significant amount, you can see now a little bit better on what the houses are all about. This is more of the framing, even though I think it still got a little extra. I don't think these legs are just sitting in the water. I know these legs are on land, and then the land is going to be a few feet above the water. But we can get an example on this house compared to this one right here, taken from a lower, observation point. Not bad, eh?
So hey, Jose, I think I got cut off last. I'm not sure how much you heard.
What was that?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now. Yeah.
Occasionally, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like the last
no.
one I got.
No, you're cutting up. You're roboting, bro. You're roboting.
Is that on the Gulf Coast? Is that on the Gulf Coast?
This is on Galveston, Texas.
Yeah, so it's on the Gulf Coast. So you don't have 10-foot tides. You have
no, there are not.
Yeah, you have 18-inch tide or maybe less.
Yeah.
I just want to get tides out of the way.
Yeah, I like this one. I like it. Pretty cool. Is there a little bit distortion when it's closer to the water? Yes, a lot closer to the ground. Yes, a little more distortion. Still, not gonna make the half bottom disappear when I go closer to the water. Just saying.
As a real refraction, the light bends towards the denser medium, etc. It would appear to lift things up, not make it sink down.
That's bullshit. So, refraction isn't doing anything over here.
Physics.
Okay.
It's the understanding of topics. It's the basic understanding.
Maybe somebody over there is pouring butane over the surface of the water, so you refract everything up.
Gary, who the fuck mentioned butane? Why are you talking about butane?
That's what you guys like to do on the. You got a little barrel or something, and you put the butane on it or nitrogen to cause the fumes to go up, and you get a reflection. And, oh, look, it's bent up. You don't see that's not actually in reality. We don't have tunnels of
refraction
butane blowing over the water, creating refraction.
Blah, blah, blah. Gary, again,
what if we do that in air?
What has butane got to do with the principle of refraction? The fact that light bends towards the denser medium.
Now, what you see on a day where you can see a lot more clear is you just have a the perfect angles, the perfect sun direction, the perfect atmosphere where you see better reflection, not refraction.
Atmosphere.
And so you can see
Gary,
more detail for further.
refracts light.
No,
And
it's not
there's
refraction.
there is a
it's
gradient
reflection.
in the atmosphere, which means
Yes.
that any light passing through it is
And
going
it hinders
to bend
reflection.
down. What reflection? What are you talking about?
Yes,
reflection
because you
for?
see things by reflection, right? So anything that hinders reflection is going to distort what you see or not allow you to see certain things, right? It's going to make things less resolvable, correct?
No, we're
It's not
talking
going to
about
lift up.
refraction, Gary.
It's not going to lift up a
Refraction.
sun
The principle of
degree on the
refraction
horizon
seems
like
to be
Wolfie
off.
likes to claim.
Except I have something posted
Gary,
in
you
the
say
Daily
you want to
Boom where
tell
it's
stories.
actually an example of air causing light to change direction.
Yeah, what did you do? Pour nitrogen on the surface?
Jesus.
What do you do?
Right,
Pour nitrogen on the surface?
air. No, it's just air is being used. It has nothing to do with butane or anything else.
So it's what kind of air?
It's the air kind of air, Gary.
Yeah, like you're blowing cold air or something over a surface?
That's also air, but that's not what's being shown in that video that you're
Okay,
not
well,
trying
just
to
explain what you're
look
doing.
at.
I'm not watching a video because it makes my stuff start roboting.
All right. Well, the one that I posted, there is a candle that is burning, right? And that candle is causing the air to heat up. And it's air that is also the same kind of air as other air around it. And the air
So
is
we have
less
candles
dense
on the
because it's hotter.
horizons. We have candles all over the horizons on the other side of the curve, huh? And it
Are you
heats
5
up
years
the
old,
air
Gary?
and blows the and curves the light back up over. you guys try to present these cases that do not represent reality.
Seriously, if you don't know how to behave like an adult, stop trying to converse.
Can I have the
Because
floor
you've just been a big child.
just for 30 seconds? Well, there you go. I'm throwing the notification. Cows are mooing and the bells are ringing because John Rapp hit me up with $2 that I missed for a few minutes ago. Thank you, John Rapp. And he say, danger, Will Robinson, danger, Gary, lemon double derp, Gary, lemon double derp. Thank you very much for the Lost in Space reference. Appreciate it, John Rapp. Boom.
He paid you for that?
Yes. And I appreciate it. He supported the channel.
Hey, I'm happy for you, Jose. If he wants to pay you for that, I'm happy.
You should support. You should help the channel out and give me like a $5 or something. You know.
I don't give anybody $5 for this.
Oh man!
All right, so now
I don't
back
give
to
it to
the
flat
example.
earthers either.
All right, so now back to the example that I brought up. The warm air is reaching a certain point within the observation corridor. Like we're looking through this air. The warm air is above, the cooler air is below, and this warmer air is less dense. So what we've done is we've induced a density gradient such that the highest density is below, and that causes us to be able to observe an object that would otherwise be obscured, and we can see it. So light is clearly taking a path that is not straight. This is done with just air.
Yeah, and so we have a row of candles on the other side of the horizon that's lifting everything up because it's heating the air at that specific point. Okay, thank you.
Literally zero people are
Like I
saying
said,
there are rows
you don't
of candles.
represent reality one bit.
Right, literally zero people are saying there are rows of candles on the horizon. What you're trying to do is come up with an excuse to not address the issue where the density
No.
gradient is the highest density. What you're trying to do is to come up with an excuse to not address the fact that a density gradient with the highest density below causes light to bend downwards such that we can see it over an obstruction.
Okay, if you want to live in that reality, that's your business. But
It is reality. That's the density gradient. That was in
Well, somebody over there on the other side of the horizon is putting up rows and rows of candles to heat up the air at those specific points.
Literally
Completely
zero
different than the rest of the atmosphere around there. Hey, you're interrupting me. You quit yelling, doofus.
On the horizon,
Hey,
Gary.
doofus,
What
you're
you're trying
yelling. You're
to
yelling
do
and
is
interrupting.
come up with an excuse in order to not address the fact that a density gradient can cause us to see around an obstruction.
Well, when you show me the rows of candles on the other side of the horizon representing
Let's
exactly
go
what
to
you're talking
zero
about, be my
people.
guest. Hey, why did you quit interrupting?
Why are
Quit
you
crying and screaming.
Okay, guys. Okay, guys.
Gee, okay,
Let's
I don't
relax.
want to
Let's
deal with
relax,
this guy.
both of you.
He's
Gary and
insane.
Doofus. Gary and Doofus. I say both names. Gary and Doofus. Relax for a minute. When Doofus made that example, and you say that there are people. There are no people in there. Why do you insist on adding people to Doofus' example? Why do you do that, Gary? He already told you there's no people. Why do you insist on doing it?
The same reason he's using a stupid example that doesn't match our reality by making a candle in one specific point reflect light. Well, you have little gases coming off the candle, so it is going to distort light to some extent. But it's not going to lift up things way in the background like the sun. Wolfie claims that refraction lifts the sun up to a degree or more at the horizon, which is how he explains away why his EQ mount doesn't accurately track sun and moon sets because of refraction.
Super chat time by Pronon 1990. Gary dropped all of a sudden there. Strange. Pronon 1990 for $4.99 super chat. Let me read this one. Gary, ABD, and Lemon. Gary and Lemon are both 5-year-old children because they can't answer questions. Plus, they are both greedy jerks who will burn. Boom. Damn. That ended in a crazy note. Thank you, Pronon. Holy shit.
Wow, he paid you for that one too?
Hey, that's how we support the channel, man. 5 here, 5 there, bro. That's how we do it.
So Gary, I was looking at I was looking at your railroad track video. Was your claim that railroad tracks were and that's why it's blocking everything in the background?
You cut out a few times. I didn't hear what you said.
Yeah, you did cut out a little bit.
Can you hear me now?
You keep now breaking up. We don't get it. We're not getting the full sentence. So we're missing those key words and we don't know. We cannot put it. I cannot understand completely what you're trying to say. Shout out to everybody on YouTube land watching, 40 people watching. If you haven't done so, please, please, please hit the thumbs up. If you're watching this now live, or if you're watching this recorded and you're hearing my voice, please go ahead and hit the thumbs up. That's one way to support the channel and help. It's free, it's easy, and it's quick. Just hit the like button. Also, share the show. Grab a link and throw it in different Discords around, Facebook and all the good stuff. And if you can support and help the channel with money, hit me up on PayPal or Super Chat. I really appreciate it. And also, you can help by joining the Discord server, The Daily Boom. We are on YouTube Live. Thank you, everybody, for being here.
Doofus, Gary is a gaslighting twat. He obviously knows he was saying something that was stupid and frustrating to listen to. Don't rise to the bait.
And shout out to John Rapp. $2 Australian more. Look at that. See, he's helping the channel out. Appreciate it, John Rapp. Doofus, good. Gary, bad. Very, very bad. Corner time. I don't know if that's a quote from a movie, but that's how I read it. Thank you very much, John Rapp. As the cow moves and the bell rings.
Doofus is an appropriate name for him.
All right, so explain why a density gradient with the highest density below does not allow us to see over an obstruction. Clearly it does, right? But Gary's just going to go silent now.
Well, I don't like to talk to somebody who starts screaming. I feel like I'm going to drive you crazy or something, and you're going to go into the insane asylum.
No, you know what?
When you keep misrepresenting my position.
No, when Doofus yells, and I was like, damn it, he's yelling again. But he just, when he's trying to make a point and he get interrupted middle of his point. And I agree with that. I mean, I will yell too. I will get pissed off. I will mute people. but let's try not to interrupt each other so we don't yell to each other.
Actually, if you go back and listen, he was interrupting me and yelling. It went both ways, but he was interrupting me quite a few times there, and he was yelling. So it goes both ways. It wasn't just me.
Right, and I would appreciate it if you would not misrepresent my position, because literally 0 people here are saying that a row of candles is necessary in order for a density gradient to exist. The thing
And
being
your
tested
candle
is the
experiment is
existence of a density
misrepresenting
gradient will
reality.
cause. The thing that's being tested is whether a
Amazing.
density gradient being caused will cause the light to bend downwards such that we can see over an obstruction. That's the thing being tested, not a row of candles at the horizon.
And once again, your little experiment with a candle does not represent reality. That's why it's stupid.
All right, so the
Well,
candle
says the
did
rubber
was
band
establish
man.
a density gradient such that light would bend downward, correct?
Actually, the rubber band thing actually was quite brilliant, I think. It was very easy to
Really?
change angles and to
Really?
show it. Yeah, it was quick and
We've
easy.
all got
You didn't have
rubber
to draw
bands
everything out a
shooting out
million
of our eyes,
times.
have we, Gary? Is there a bunch of
You
people
didn't have to.
running
You didn't
around
have
with
to
rubber
make
bands
mistakes
and
with your
shooting out of
drawing
our
and
eyes?
erase. You
And
just put in
pins?
the nails, put the rubber bands, and you could
Is there
change
big
them
nails at
instantly.
the horizon or at the sides of buildings that rubber bands are attached to that reach to our eyes, Gary?
No, it just
No.
demonstrated how the angles
Well,
are
your
different at
stupid
all points of
fucking
a
thing
building or a
doesn't
boat.
represent reality, does it?
No, but
Same
I
thing.
did demonstrate how all
Nope,
angles are
Gary,
different to
sorry.
all
You
points of
don't
a
get to
boat. They're
choose
not
which
equal at
rules
all points.
apply. If doing something like changing the temperature of the air to see if changing the temperature of the air affects refraction is somehow invalid because a candle is involved, then you using rubber bands and pins to represent optics is right out the fucking window. You don't
Wow,
get
you
to
Right,
pick
we
and
don't
choose.
literally have eyeballs with rubber bands coming out of them.
And neither do we have candles in our eyeballs. Thank you.
Right, so your contention applies to your points as well, because we don't literally have eyeballs that have rubber bands coming out of them.
And neither do we have flames in the middle of our eyeballs.
Jesus fucking Christ, exactly. So either you accept that you use other objects to do tests and experiments and explain things that speak to the root of the thing that you're trying to explain, or you go the childish route and say, try and be literal about it and say, we've not got candles, in which case we can say, well, we've not got rubber bands. Pick a side,
Except for
Gary.
the
You
rubber
don't get
bands
to
were
choose both.
just showing angles. They weren't doing anything else. He's trying to make a whole other thing out of a candle and heat.
You don't
Doing
get
something.
to
The
pick and
rubber
choose,
bands were
Gary.
just simple angles, just no different than if you drew the lines on a paper.
Right,
Just
the
simpler and
candle is
easier
showing what a
have rubber
density
bands.
gradient does. So if I can't use a candle, you can't use rubber bands.
They don't even compare. You're totally
You're
using
right, yours
apples
is
and
much
oranges
more
here.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. I'm
Right,
sure. I know you guys feel
let's
that
do
way
this
because
then.
you guys can't
Let's set up a
see
horizon
anything other
full
than
of
your own
Moderator.
inbred bullcrap.
No, what we
Moderator.
know, Gary, is that you're a
Let me-
big baby.
All right, moderator, I came in perfect time. I went away for a few minutes and now all I hear is name calling suicide. So I'm going to take this opportunity to read a big super chat from Anamorphic Mind. It's a $10 one. Thank you, Anamorphic Mind, for supporting the channel. Gary, there are people who know stuff and people who don't know stuff. You don't know stuff and should stay quiet while the people who know stuff try to teach you so you can learn stuff. Thank you very much, Anamorphic Mind.
He paid for that too. Wow, he
Yes,
just
very
defeated me.
appreciated.
I'm deflated. I don't even know what to do now. I think I'll go see a
All right,
psychologist.
I'm gonna turn my camera on. I want to share something with you guys. Like here going on. A vecino. Okay, I got oh, where's the camera? Right here. I got something. It's getting dark over here in the Florida. Yeah, I'm not. Nothing. There's no money paid by this company, so I'm gonna block it. But look at the flavor of this ice cream. Oh, it's backwards. Damn it. Let me turn on the other
No, it
camera.
works good on
So,
Discord.
huh? Oh, you got on Discord, but people not on YouTube. Damn it.
Oh yeah.
YouTube is backwards. So, if I turn this one on, I should be going through. Oh, I gotta click over here. Click.
No,
There you go. It's still good on Discord, right, for you? Look at that. This ice cream is Planet Earth. French ice cream is the French ice cream, and the flavor is Planet Earth. How about that? Isn't that something? I got it as a gift. Why French ice cream? And it tells you a bunch of shit in there. But I don't know. It's interesting, man. Planet Earth French ice cream. I'm just gonna try it for you guys. It's super hard, but it looks like Looks like pistachio. That greenish color. Damn, it's fucking hard. It's like that greenish flavor. Got some little chunks of yellowish stuff. Does it look like earth to you? It's strange.
Hey, the pistachios are probably from my area. They grow them everywhere here.
Tastes pistachio-y. But they're all right. I just wanted to share that with you after the show. I'm gonna eat a bunch of it. Thank you very much. Oh shit, I'm spitting shit around.
So we kind of wandered right off the original point, which is no matter how much some idiot wants to protest how refraction actually works in every way that it can be demonstrated and used, light bends towards the denser medium. The atmosphere has a gradient. It's denser towards the bottom and less dense towards the top. So, except for when there's things like temperature inversions and so on, which we know of, the general rule for light in the atmosphere is that it will bend down very slightly on a good day and quite a lot on different days. But that's still the trend. Which means your observations when you see things, if you were observing them over a flat Earth, the building that appears to be blocked and so on would actually be raised. That was the point.
Another shout out to John Rapp for another $2 Australian. Now it's getting serious over here. Big support. Gary don't hold a candle to those who know. Wait, that was strangely phrased. Gary don't hold a candle to those who know. Thank you very much, John Rapp. I probably butchered that. I just read it the way you typed it. Appreciate it.
I like the fact that somebody that relies so heavily on the idea of magnification with Zoom denies refraction. Amazing.
Zoom is pseudo-perspective.
Pseudo-perspective is a word you've made up.
Pseudo-perspective is what it is. It's not real perspective. Two-dimensional. Pictures are two-dimensional.
Zoom
is not how you see.
Gary.
A picture does not represent how you see.
In what way?
In many ways. It's two-dimensional. It doesn't give you dimension. It doesn't give you depth. It doesn't give you a lot of different things.
Okay. So you think when the light hits your eye, the image that's produced is three-dimensional?
Yes, I can look around and see everything in three-dimensional around me. I can see how the one thing is further than the other. It's behind it, like the telephone pole behind the tree. I can see how the clouds are much further in the distance. I can see that there's distance between my backyard and the neighbor's backyard. I can see all these things. They have depth and dimension, which a lot of that misses in pictures.
Okay, Gary.
It just looks like a flat
what
picture.
If you close one eye? If you close one eye, can you still tell?
Yes. But you're going to have less. You're going to have less information because you don't have the cross view of your two eyeballs crossing slightly. So you get a little bit more, little different view with two eyes compared to one, but pretty similar.
Big welcome to. Quickly, big welcome to Lubo in China. He just joined the Discord. You're set. If you want to say something, you're up. Or just to listen, good to have you, Lubo. Go ahead, okay. Sorry about that.
No, just the fact that Gary actually genuinely believes he can see in three dimensions, even with one eyeball, it just tells you everything you need to know about Gary's comprehension of optics.
Well, you can. I can see all the same stuff. I can see the depth and dimension with my one eye open right now.
What's the difference between your eyeball and a camera lens in terms of...
The camera lens is just a flat 2D picture, which is why you think star trails are vertically up and down when they're not.
A lens is
because you're seeing it all represented on a 2D image.
A lens is convex, Gary.
It doesn't matter what the lens is. The picture itself is a flat 2D image. That's why when you look at these star trail pictures that look like they're vertical up and down like a Ferris wheel, that's not how it looks in reality. It's not showing the depth and dimension of the stars right above you versus the stars in the distance. It makes them look like they're up and down. Of course, you got the wide angle contributing to that mess, but you never actually see a star trail vertically up and down like that. In real life, you don't actually see that happening because you have depth and dimension with your own natural eyes compared to a camera picture.
I don't even know where to start with that. What I'm asking you, what is the difference between your eye and a camera? So both of them have a lens, a convex lens. Both of them have an aperture, and both of them have an area where the light is sensed after it's passed through that aperture.
And like I said, you don't have the same depth and dimension because you're looking at a 2D flat picture trying to represent 3 dimensions.
That didn't answer my question.
It's really that simple. I don't care what shape your eyeball. There's way more to your eyeball than you think. You don't know everything, but you do know that your eyes do see 3-dimensional, different than a picture.
Some differences, but you can't actually tell us what they are. That's what you've got.
But you can actually physically see it with your eyes if you pay attention compared to a picture.
Gary, you're making quite a large claim. I would like to see you back it up with some information.
It's not a claim, it's reality.
No, it's a claim.
I want to try.
Claiming that the human eye can see in 3 dimensions, and that's patently false. But as you insist that it's true, it is a large claim. You will not find anybody in the field of biology, physiology, physics, and so on that would agree with what you're saying.
So then why are all these gamers trying to make their pictures more 3-dimensional? Because their pictures on their screens don't represent reality. They have to change it to make it seem more real, right? They're trying to make it more 3-dimensional, how you can kind of turn and look and see different angles. They're trying to do that. You can't do that on a regular flat picture with 2D. You can't.
I'm curious,
So
Gary, how do you
talking about virtual reality.
With your eye?
What was that, Blue?
Yeah, let's give Blue the chance to jump in there.
Yeah, it's fine. It's
I
fine.
just want to know how Gary thinks. How do you see star trails with your eye?
With your eyes, you can watch the stars moving across the sky, and they're not turning a big vertical circle like a Ferris wheel.
I can't do that. What's wrong with my eye?
No, but you can tell they're moving. The whole point is,
How
Blue.
do you do that? I don't understand how you're able to see star trails with your eyes. Try to explain.
you can't.
You ready for an answer, Blue?
You can't. Go ahead, Gary.
I can watch the Big Dipper starting early in the evening when it first comes out. I can see it moving across the sky gradually. I can come out once every 15, 20 minutes and see it's moved a little bit, and I can see that. You can see all that. And it's not moving in a big vertical. It's not moving in a big vertical Ferris wheel.
Star trails. That's a specific thing that cameras capture. That's a specific island that the cameras are capturing.
Because they are not showing the depth and the dimension of the stars. They're taking the stars that are practically over you and putting them as if they're in the distance because it's a 2-dimensional picture. And it makes it look like it's a vertical up and down Ferris wheel turning. And the fact is, it's not like that in reality.
Do you see the stars in 3 dimensions? Do you see the stars in 3 dimensions?
Sure.
They look 3-dimensional.
Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you?
Do the stars? Are they really? Okay.
Yes, that's why you don't see a vertical Ferris wheel of a star trail in reality.
You can tell which stars are further away from you and which stars are closer to you just by looking at them.
Stars farther from you are lower on the horizon. The stars closer to you are higher above in the sky. That's really simple perspective, Blue. You should know this by now.
This is wonderful stuff. Yeah, I'm glad to hear this.
That's incredible. I want to please.
No different than the sun.
Please, Gary, let me see something. Let me try to just bring it down. I'm stuttering. I'm dragging it so we can take a deep breath, everybody. I'm going to be here for a little bit longer. I want to give the chance to Lubo. Lubo, what's up? You want to test your mic? Because he got some points. I don't remember, I know it's the first time he's here. Unmute and give it a try. I just want to hear if your microphone is working. And just give the opportunity to him. He's the new guy to see what he got. What you got, man? You got a point for me or for Gary or for the audience or what you got? You just got to unmute. And don't wait too much. We'll try to keep it, open. Uh-oh. You are suppressed. No, you're good, man. Oh, shit. Wow, there you go. Try now.
Oh,
There you go.
can you hear me now? How is my
Yes,
sound?
sir. I'm sorry about that. I didn't click that.
Am I too loud?
No, it's good. Solid, clean mic. Yeah.
Good. Thank you. Well, I'm in China, by the way, and it's a daylight. Wow. Is it night over there? Where are you?
Getting close to night. The sun is already, it's still a little bit of a bright in the day, but it's getting close to dark.
Good. So I think the first thing, the sunsets would never happen on the flat Earth. But one more thing I want to point out, okay, and that's a regular, the size, the angular size, sorry. So when I look at the sun, angular size of the sun is the same. Can you please, Gary, explain it to me?
We know it shrinks vertically near the horizons. Even Wolfie has a video showing it, and he talks about it. And so does Bob the Science Guy.
It doesn't.
It does, and we showed it on this very show. They played the video by Wolfie, and everybody measured it, and it did shrink vertically as it neared the horizon.
No, it should shrink all the time
it shouldn't because it's already far away and small.
Do you know?
You know, it's only a half a degree, right? You know, it's only a half a degree.
Do you know anything about perspective?
Yes, you know it's only a half.
Okay, I will tell you one thing. If you look at a car and the car is close to you, it's big, yes, but when it goes far away, it gets close. It gets smaller, yes or no? How small?
Really?
Is it twice small? 3 times smaller?
Wait, I got to go research this because I didn't know this.
Yeah, but do research because when you look at the sun,
now because I didn't know things far away look smaller.
Yes, especially constellations, for example. Look at the stars. When they are overhead, they should get smaller when they go closer to horizon. Isn't it true, Gary?
Well, it does compress into the horizon where I can't see it. I can't see parts of it after it gets to the horizon.
Take a ruler.
No, I have Orion that passes over the sky every night right now, and it's like as it gets to the horizon, it's lower, and the front part of it that's going closest to the horizon is going to become unresolvable before the back end. The part that's closer
the distance between the stars. If you know anything about Orion, okay? Do you know Rigel?
Yeah, because stars in the sun are far away. The angles change very slowly on things that are already far away. Just like the car in front of you, it looks big when it's close, but it quickly gets smaller, right? It gets smaller quick, but then as it goes off in the distance, you see that change takes a little longer to get smaller because it's already farther away and you don't see the change as rapidly as it did when it was close by. Now, we all see this effect. You can watch it. You can drive home tonight and pay attention to what you're seeing.
It doesn't.
The sun is far away. It's also a ball, so you don't have sides to foreshorten. So we got another thing there, which I did a video on.
One thing, Gary, I want you to listen, okay? The angular size should change at least twice, okay? Sun and the stars, the distances between stars. If you take Rigel and Betelgeuse, if you mention Orion constellation, there is a distance between the two stars. Okay, you can measure the stars. Take a ruler, put it on your side, in front of your eye, stretch your arm, okay, and measure the distance when it's right overhead, and measure the distance when it's close to horizon. It should shrink, yes, but it doesn't because there is a thing.
It foreshortens to the point where you can't see it at the horizon.
It doesn't.
It does.
Come on, what telescope do you use? Can you tell me? What's the telescope brand you use?
High school I went to. What do you want to dox me now?
Telescope. Do you know telescope? There is something called.
I have a telescope.
Yes, and do you use it for astrophotography?
No, I don't.
So, if you know anything about astrophotography, you know there's a thing that measure which stars are the position of the sky you're looking at, okay? And that's based on the distances between the stars, and it doesn't change, okay? There is also stacking in astrophotography. If the angular resolution would change, it's not possible to stack all the stars, okay? Because the distances are different. If you stack pictures that you started to take, for example, at 8 o'clock evening, and you take pictures all the time through the midnight and until, 3 o'clock in the night, it doesn't change. You can compare the first picture you took and the last picture, or at the midnight. It doesn't change, man.
And then as you watch it go to the horizon, it compresses into it. So it does change to the point where it's foreshortened and you can't see it. That's why the sun changes vertically as it nears the horizon. As we saw in Wolfie's video, and Bob the Science Guy has acknowledged it does. They both have acknowledged. In fact, they did a video together about it. They also showed the problems with the EQ mount at the horizon.
How far? What is the difference? Can you tell me?
By the way, Wolfie's video was with the solar filter
like 1 degree
and an EQ mount
of difference. Okay, one thing is the sun would never set on the flat Earth. Sun would never set. Not just that, planets. Okay, now I haven't finished my point. Okay, if you take in account, for example, planets. Okay, does their angular size changes through the night?
Why would they? They're small and far away. You're not going to even notice it.
Oh, I have a telescope. I can see when they're getting smaller.
A telescope is not your natural eye. You're taking a zoomed-in image now of something. You're changing the whole perspective. See, you're comparing an apple to an orange, just like all you guys like to do.
How does my
a zoomed-in image with a telescope is not the same as what you're viewing with your natural eye. I can zoom in on the moon, and it's this gigantic thing in my screen, right?
Telescopes don't zoom. They don't have zoom function. Okay.
No, it's already got a fixed focal length, which is basically the same as a zoom.
It doesn't change. Do you understand? It doesn't change through the year.
I know it's the same as a zoom.
So tell me why in summer, when the planet's getting closer. Okay, we know our Earth rotates around the sun because
you think it rotates. It doesn't.
Let me to finish. Okay, so in April or May, when I'm closer to Mars will get twice, 3 times, 4 times bigger. Why is that? Tell me. When it's a different time of the year, when we are further away from Mars, we know that because I personally took a video of Mars rotation. Okay, they rotate. The Jupiter rotates too. You can see the big red spot. Yes, if you have a good telescope, you can see it rotating. You can see it rotating the moons around Jupiter. You can see moons of Jupiter casting shadow on Jupiter. I don't know why you deny it, because you can just get a telescope and look at it. Okay, your turn.
And your point is, I can see the moons on Jupiter with my telescope. What's the problem?
Angular size doesn't change of the sun, moon, and the stars. Distances, they don't change.
Even Wolfie and Bob the Science Guy acknowledge it. It changes vertically. It shrinks near the horizon because it's compressing into the vanishing zone bottom first.
When you look, when the sun is right overhead, okay? I mean,
it all has to do with angles.
At 45 degrees. When it's 45 degrees, it's twice or how much is Fahrenheit? Can you tell me, Gary, how high is the sun? If you know triangles and Earth would be flat, you would tell me. How high is the sun? Tell me.
I would say the sun is about 4,000 miles above the surface of the Earth.
Okay,
and I would
so
say the same for Polaris. I already know what you're going to say. Oh, it would never set because you don't consider perspective compression that happens at your vanishing zone, which is dependent on your elevation over the surface, which is why you can see the sun longer when you go higher, right?
Gary,
like the hotel that they have, you can go up and you can see the sun longer because you widen your angle, you extended your field of view at depth in the distance at center frame.
Oh, wait a second, okay.
Well, he went on and on, so I'm going to keep going too.
Yeah, okay, you can keep going if you want, but do you know what happens to sunlight when you compress it? Have you tried to put a magnifying glass and compress the light, like burning little flies or ants? Have you tried it? So what happens if you compress the sunlight due to some magic? You compress the sunlight, what will happen? You will get lasers that will burn your eyeballs, man.
And what's this got to do with anything?
You say you compress the sunlight. You compress the light, okay? That's what you see.
Who said it compresses sunlight?
You said that.
This is Wolfie with a solar filter. Okay, Jose played it on a show. Everybody, and he actually put it in a program and measured it, and it did get smaller.
Okay, who said that during sunlight? What happened is the sun is not obstructed, but it compresses the light. Can you tell me who said that?
I said the sun itself compresses
Oh, physically
Wolfie has a
compresses,
video
yeah?
demonstrating it. Bob the science guy and Wolfie have both said the sun compresses vertically
So
at the
explain me,
horizon.
does it compresses physically or does it compresses only the sunlight?
It's optical. It's going into the
So
vanishing
it's the
zone. It
light.
compresses bottom first into it.
Okay, so what happens to the light when you compress it?
That's not the. You're not talking the same thing.
I'm saying
You're
the same
talking
thing.
apples and oranges again. No,
you
you're
compress
talking
the-
about a visual
you
zone
compress
near
the
your
light.
field of view that's at center frame, right? When you're
You
looking towards the
compress
horizon,
the
you're watching the
light.
sunset. You got a center frame. It's limited. What can be seen in it is limited by distance over the surface for how long you can see it. That's why when you go higher, you can see the sun longer. But it's
there is
compressing. It's slanting down. It has no option but to do so because the angles force it to do it. Just like take the sun when it's
where's the
directly above you,
laser then?
watch, point your hand at it and point as it keeps going towards the horizon, and your hand is going down, 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 down
And
towards your eye level. And if the bottom of the sun is going to touch that point first, which it's going to compress into that angle. There's just nowhere to put the information.
The light. What happens when you compress the light? Tell me. You know that. Tell me what happens when you compress the light.
You're compressing the light has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
It changed.
Oh my
it's
God.
getting hotter.
Really?
You can burn ants. You can burn anything with compressed light.
What has that got to do with the size of the sun that we see? The visual effect of optical.
Because it doesn't work. Your compressing
Sure it
theory
does.
doesn't work.
No, you're
Your
compressing
theory
an
doesn't work.
object. The visual aspect of that object is compressing as it goes into the center frame because there's nowhere else for it to go.
I got a quick question in between. Then you go after me, Lubo. I got one question for Gary, and then when he answers, if he wants to, then you. Kango 44, good to see you back, man. Welcome back. I haven't seen you in forever. Do planes disappear from the bottom up as they fly away from you? That's from Kango 44. He hasn't been watching for a little while. I don't know if you have answered this question, Gary. Do planes disappear from the bottom up as they fly away from you?
Actually, they will, because if you just all you have to do is draw the angles and see how they work as something moves away. You can actually do that in an orthographic view if you want, drawing, and your angle to the bottom will foreshorten, and the last thing you'll see is the rear end. Now, if it's high in the sky far away, it still does the same thing, but it's going to basically, because it's already far away, it's all going to disappear at the same time. I actually watched one this morning doing it. It was low.
Have you ever seen an airplane disappear over the horizon?
No, I see airplanes disappear in midair. I watched one this morning. They just disappear. They just run out of enough of sufficient angle for you to see them.
Yeah, they get smaller and they get farther away, right?
Yes. So all the surfaces are foreshortened, and they come to a point where you can no longer see them. They blend in with the sky and just disappear.
What happens when that thing is not that far away and it still gets blocked by something?
Well, if it's a very low plane, it will get blocked if there's a lot of trees and stuff around it. Yeah, it'll get blocked. But it also, if it's sufficiently high and there's not a bunch of trees in the topography that's going to cause an obstruction, an actual obstruction, you will watch, like we have crop dusters that fly over here all the time. You will watch them disappear bottom first. That bottom will, when it's flying over your head, you can see the whole bottom as it flies off in the distance. That bottom foreshortens. The last thing you see is the rear end of the plane. It's your angles. All you got to do is draw out the angles, and you can see what I'm talking about. But you won't do it.
So before I'm going to have a breakfast. So before I do it, I just want to point out one thing for Gary. Gary, I'm not sure if you know anything about the photography or astrophotography, but basically, you can increase what you see. You can increase. You can see the very, very, very faint objects increasing their exposure time on your camera. Am I right? So, if, for example, if you have a faint stars, you have to increase your exposure time. Yes.
I don't know if you guys can hear me. I can't hear anything.
Oh, I can hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you. I hear you now.
Okay, so I'm not sure if you know anything about astrophotography or photography generally, but you can bring up very faint or dark objects, make them brighter if you increase exposure time. Yes.
Yeah, like a zoom camera can.
No, that's not about zoom. Exposure time.
I can zoom in on the night sky and see stars with the zoom that I couldn't see with my eyes.
It's not zoom. It's not time.
It's exposure.
Exposure time.
Long exposure.
Yes, I understand long exposure. I know what you're talking about.
Okay, so now if you understand, so when we take picture of night sky, we can start with 10-second exposure. So it opens the camera shutter, okay, and it keeps taking the light for 10 seconds, yes? And you can already bring up dark buildings in front of you, make them really, really bright, yes? Do you understand this point?
Keep on going.
Okay.
I don't know what your point is yet, but keep going.
My point is, like, if you increase exposure and you go to very, very dark locations, as we astrophotographers like to go to see the Milky Way or other things, so we get away from the light pollution, okay? You can take picture of the length like 3 minutes, 5 minutes. Some people do 10 minutes exposure. Some people, they do 1 hour exposure, 1 hour looking at one point of the star, tracking the rotation of Earth with a tracker, with a equatorial mounts, okay? 1 hour taking one picture. So they can bring very, very faint objects into the camera, okay? Now the thing is, if there would be no shadow, if the sun would not be on the other side of Earth, if Earth would not be globe, it's just not possible. One thing, okay, if you climb mountain, and in the dark, you climb the mountain, okay? In the dark, you can see the distance. We call it light domes. That's the light pollution that comes from the cities, okay? You can see city much further away than you would think, okay? The light from the cars, light from the traffic lights, you can see the light pollution of that, okay? It's like a big light dome, okay? That's the dome I like to use, okay? Now we want to escape this part, so we go to dark location. Where is the dome coming from the sun? That's my question right now. If the Earth is flat, there is no light coming from the sun. And sun is much brighter than one city or one car, okay? So where is that light? Where is that? Where is the sunlight? Where is the sunlight? I'm not sure if you are there, Gary. Gary's gone.
There.
There you go.
Now
Yeah, you're back.
I must have accidentally hit the.
Instead of unmute, you went out.
Well, I was trying to take a picture of a dove because you were droning on and on. It was sitting on top of a cactus in my neighbor's backyard, and it was kind of a pretty picture. But so you were droning on and on. I just got bored. You weren't even making a point.
If you listen, I just made a point. Okay, so if I go to a high mountain, I can see the light domes of the cities. They are very like 300-400 kilometers. You can see. I don't see the city, but I know that I see the light pollution of the cities. Okay, because they illuminate the air. So where is the light dome of sun? In the night, in the dark night.
So when you were on the ground and not on the mountain, did you see all those city lights?
Not the city lights. I see their domes. So
when you were on the ground, when you were on the mountain, did you see them when you were on the ground? I have towns around me too. I can't see their lights at night.
Well, I'm not sure how dark is your location, though. I'm not sure how dark is the location. You have to be in the dark location to see this.
How about if I take a flashlight? How about if you're in the dark in the backyard and I take a flashlight and just kind of point it at an angle in the air, but I block the source of the light with my hand so you can't actually see where the front of the flashlight is?
Hey, you can
see
still
that
see
light
the
going.
light.
Can you see that light going through the air if it's not reflecting off a tree or a building?
You can still with a good if you nail the exposure time, you can see that. You can actually see that, yeah.
Actually, there's a science thing that I have to go finding in where they showed you can't see it.
You can see the flashlight illuminating the air. You can see that.
He was showing laser beams. You couldn't see the laser beam unless you put something in it. He took some chalkboard erasers and started pounding the dust in the air, and then you could see the beam. But before that, you couldn't see it.
Well, I'm not sure about your laser, but that I have 1 watt laser, I can see it definitely. I can see it definitely. My 1 watt. It's a 1 watt.
Well,
laser.
I think if you were 10 miles away and you were shining it crossways from me, I wouldn't see that beam.
Oh, actually, 3 days ago, I climbed a mountain, okay? And I had this laser just for fun, so I will shine the laser at my house. That's like 5-10 kilometers away. And so I shine the light, and if my son can see it at home, and wow, it's so bright. You can see it.
Yes, because you pointed it directly towards him.
No, I mean,
if it was crossing your path in front of you 90 degrees to your straightforward look, and it's crossing the path like a horizon type angle, you wouldn't see that light.
No, I shone through the more buildings, and they could definitely see the light
when
beam.
it hits the building. Yes, okay, because then you have something to reflect the light.
They
you
saw
can't see it if it's just in the sky.
They
you
saw
can't
the
see
air.
the beam across the sky.
I'm not sure. Have you ever tried to use a really strong laser?
No, I don't have a strong laser.
What color laser?
Okay, so if you have, well, actually, I have it right in front of me.
What color is it?
This is a pointless argument. It's not going to prove flat Earth or round Earth.
I got a purple
pretty
laser.
pointless.
Oh, it's 5 watt actually. It's a 5 watt laser. You can get these.
I know you can see green in the one. Use it all the time to point out stars and stuff.
Yeah,
it's been fun. I just want to say,
yeah.
Lubo in China, it's been fun, your participation. I appreciate it. I mean, Gary is losing patience with you, but you are a very articulated and patient guy. I wish, everybody engaged in this sense, just taking your time, relax, silent, talk and let talk. I like it.
Oh, thank you.
All right, Gary got, quote, bored.
Yeah.
Are you trying to hit Gary with some facts? That's always
He
difficult.
was droning on and on.
Yeah, he was
And
hitting
it was kind of pointless, and it wasn't going to prove flat Earth or round Earth.
For you was pointless. For you was pointless.
And the little dove
it
sitting on
exposed,
top of the cactus plant was really pretty, and I just wanted to get a picture of it.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, for you was pointless because it disproves flat Earth. For you will only accept the
It
arguments.
does not disprove flat Earth.
How
Oh my
would you
gosh.
know? You never
Angular
listened
size. If you would listen, you would know why. Okay.
Yeah, well, the angular size of the sun does change.
Oh,
near the
okay,
horizon.
okay.
No, it doesn't.
Can you research?
Okay, well then you should tell Wolfie and Bob the Science Guy this because they say otherwise.
How much does it change in a day?
We played it in Wolfie's, or we played Wolfie's video on Jose's show, and everybody
How
saw
much
that it
does it change
changed.
in a day?
Right, well,
How much
we'll
would
be
you
very clear
expect
about
it to
this.
change when it's only a half a degree in the first place? How much
Right,
would
we'll
you
be
expect
very-
that to change in your visual field?
All right,
You
we'll
have
be
to
very
actually
clear-
put it in something to see the measurement change, because with your eyes, you're not going to see it. So
He doesn't want me to. We'll be very clear about exactly what it was that was observed. Now, when you
he
have
admitted it
an
does, and so
atmosphere
did
that
Bob the
causes...
Science Guy.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Gary.
No, it's not. It's
We
nothing to do
have-
with the
yeah.
atmosphere. It's compressing into your visual angle.
No.
Center frame.
No.
Everything's
I
compressed
wanna
into
hear-
that
Okay,
point.
wait, guys. Moderator, 3 times Dufus attempted to speak one sentence and you interrupted the 3 times, Gary. Let's get that clear now. Doofus, go ahead, man. Try it for the 4th time.
All right. Let's be very clear of what was observed. Now, in an atmosphere where the highest density is below and causes light to bend downward a bit, you expect a little bit of compression right at the horizon. The amount of angular deviation for celestial objects at its maximum is 37 arc minutes, which conveniently is slightly larger than the size of the sun. Now, when we see that sun get close to that horizon, we see it shrink vertically, which we expect for that kind of refraction effect. We don't see it shrink horizontally, something we don't expect for some object that is increasing its distance from us in a what's the word I'm looking for? We don't expect to see it have the same horizontal size as it is moving away from us in a significant manner to its altitude over what we presume is a flat Earth. So we have ruled out then that it is a flat Earth.
Gary has a problem with perspective and size and that. I mean, you'd think that that Father Ted thing would show him because it has to do with cows, but he doesn't seem to understand that one either.
Is that
Gary,
is
if
this
you're
you?
talking, I'm muted.
Is this you paying us a shield on screen? The GIF, the picture that Mr. Victory posted. Looks like you sound.
No, it's not me at all. I don't have a mustache.
Oh, so you made this clip when you had a mustache. All right, makes sense.
I haven't worn a bow tie in like forever.
May I point out that the one thing that nobody actually pointed out before, okay? Flat Earth, that they like to say that there is some magic that makes sun to come from theoretically 20 degrees up. Okay, here's the thing. When you look at the sunset, we know it's the Earth blocking the sunlight, but they say the sun is 4,000 miles high. And that would make it the furthest point from me to the sun. The furthest point, it would still make sun quite high on the horizon, over the horizon, probably 10, 20 degrees. I didn't do actually the math, but if there is something refracting that much, it would make sun look like a rainbow, and stars would not be resolvable. There would be like little rainbows if there is so much refraction, because we know when you refract something from a single lens, the white light basically splits to whole rainbow. That's how the spectrography spectrography, I'm not sure, works.
Right.
And basically nobody addresses this point. If you refract something 10 degrees without triplets or four lenses, like the proper telescope, they have at least 3 or 4 lenses. And if you don't have the correction lenses, it will make it like a rainbow, or it will make it like a big blobs, like very, very not clear stars. So I'm not sure. I'm not really professional. I'm just amateur. So
the term you're looking for is chromatic aberration.
Yeah, chromatic aberration or coma or whatever other aberrations they would appear. But nobody addresses this point. If sun would refract 10 degrees below or where it's supposed to be, there would be so many aberrations that would be not clear. The sunspot will be not clear anymore. Other thing that nobody mentions is actually the shapes of the craters on the moon, shape of the sunspots on the sun. We know they are balls because the shapes of the craters. If you look on the bottom of the moon, they look like elliptic. If you look right in the middle of the moon, the craters are round. If you look on top, they are elliptic again. So we know from the shapes of the craters that it's a ball. Also, Jupiter's red spot. When the red spot is in the middle, it's elliptical. If it moves a little bit sideways, it becomes a ball, and then it becomes elliptical in the other way. That's why we have WinJuPos software that basically derotates. Derotation tool that makes picture looks very well. I'm not sure how good that is to me if you are expert in Jupiter, but there is a tool that derotates planets, and that makes the pictures looking better. Looks like everybody's muted. Oh.
Meh.
Listening to you talk.
I'm down now in energy. It's my time to eat, but it's gonna take me a while to get my food ready. So I think I'm gonna wrap this one up. Been on for a few hours, decent amount of participation here in voice and in the chat box. I want to thank everybody. First of all, the people that was here in the voice call earlier and had to leave, and thank you for still being here. You guys can stay as long as you want. I'm gonna give you a chance for final thoughts to all of you, and big thank you to everybody that in YouTube chat box over here listening. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the support via super chat. I really, really appreciate it. And we'll come back tomorrow again. I don't know if it's tomorrow. I got 2 tickets to watch a few movies. I got 3 tickets already on the app. I'm gonna watch. I don't know if it's tomorrow or no, Thursday. Thursday I'm gonna watch Everything Everywhere All at Once. It's a movie about multiverse, a fun looking movie. On Friday I'm gonna watch The Northman. That is gonna be a cinematic experience because it's beautifully shot, very gory and bloody. And on a few weeks, I'm gonna watch Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I already got the ticket on first day up. They're gonna be on a Thursday. Excited, like movies. Looking forward for those. But hope I can be here tomorrow in a regular time, roughly at noon my time, so noon to 3 ish. And big thank you again to everybody. Okay, what are your final thoughts for today?
Well, I think we've just witnessed as usual that Lemon and Gary like to literally just make shit up as they go along. And Lemon in particular really, really, really despises the idea of having to back anything he says practically. It's got to be a fantastical story. And if you don't let him have his little fairy tales, he gets all upset that you're suppressing him somehow. So sad. I did offer to tell him how to do the test to make it even easier for him. But even when somebody's telling him how to do a test, he won't even hear it. He won't even hear how the test should be done, let alone go and actually do anything practical for himself. Gary, fucking hell, where do you start with that? Pseudo perspective and 3-dimensional vision and I don't know. But he needs to, I know he's a troll, but he really needs to stop being so fucking childish. All this stuff about candles at the horizon just to get the rise out of people and everything. I mean, it's pretty sad. He needs to up his troll game, I think. Anyway, interesting little late show, Jose. Enjoy your movies and stuff. I'll see you around.
Thank you very much, okay? Always good to hear you, man. I'm glad I called you this odd time. Welcome anytime, man. We got Doofus Manfred for final thoughts.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to that meeting. All right. The number of things that are easy to demonstrate and left unexplained by flat earthers is constantly a staggering number. Like if we have easy demonstrations of setting up a density gradient, having light pass through it, and changing its direction, and that's just air, and air is bending that light, then it should be enough or sufficient to conclude that air can indeed change the direction that light is going. And they have things like the Black Swan, the same guy, BM-LSB-69, shot an obstructed view and an unobstructed view, all warbly and stuff, from the same location. Either the shape of the Earth is changing from one day to the next, or the light is changing direction. I'm going to go with the light is changing direction, because that makes the most sense. I don't have to say that the Earth is changing shape. It's spherical anyway.
Thank you very much, Doofus. Appreciate it. Gary Waibenga, give us some final thoughts. Thank you for coming and hanging out with us for a few hours, man.
Yeah, everything you see is optical. Your eyes are the only real perspective. It's based on angles from objects subtended to your eyes that places them in their proper place in your field of view, and that field of view is determined by your elevation over the surface. Now, of what Doofus just said, there are days where you see more detail further because you have better conditions for optical reflection to be optimal. The sun angle could be perfect, where you can see, because I can have the sun one day coming at an angle where it's towards me and it's kind of blurring everything because of the sunlight. Some days where it's on an angle slightly away from me, coming from behind me, I can actually see more distance, more detail on the surface, even without a zoom. You could have the water, if you're on the water, Maybe one day the water is smoother than the next day. So you can see when it's smoother, it's all to do with angles over the surface. So if you got smoother water, your angle over the surface is different than if you have rougher water. So if the rougher water, you're going to have a higher angle, or you're going to be closer to the surface actually than if the water was smooth and not moving. And so you're not going to see as far on rough water as you will on smooth water. So it's all optical. It's all based on angles. And all those angles in your field of view are based on your elevation over the surface. It's always very simple perspective.
Very good, very good. Thank you very much. Quickly show you over here. This is the movie theaters app you got for Everything Everywhere All at Once. That's gonna be on Thursday. And then we got over here. We got the other one is for The Northman. Wait, what's the name of this person? Oh, it's Jose Gonzalez. How dare I using my real name for YouTube and for real life? Oh, well, it is what it is. And we got the Doctor Strange ready to go. It's already in the pot, ready to be eaten. Just wanted to share that movie app with you guys. Lubo in China, final thoughts.
Wow, what can I say? I mean, China, people believe in crazy things. Like there are many like Chinese medicine or other things that you should do that, you shouldn't do that. There are many things Chinese people believe, but nobody believes in flat Earth because it's just too dumb to believe it. And well, if you tell somebody in China that there are still people who believe that the Earth flat, they're just laughing. What? And I kind of blame a little bit American movies and American education. That's two things, okay? Many people believe the things that are in the movies, but actually there haven't been a proper science-based movie for a long time. What is the next moon about the moon? What is the new movie about the moon? It's rubbish, you know. And people see this movie. Oh, that's true. That's going to happen. And I just, oh my God, what generation are you raising watching movies like this, you know? People before these two, which there have been some good movies, but about science, you say you go to see a superhero movie, but I would love to see a movie like a Gravity or maybe like a Martian. There were two good movies I saw, and I really miss good movies, like science-based movies, you know. And I'm very happy to be here on your show, and I'm first time using Discord and first time actually live on YouTube, so I'm very happy that everything works well. Hope the sound is good, it's not too loud, or the sound is good, it's not like from the phone, because I got a microphone. Yeah, anyway, I would recommend for Gary to research plate solving, and he would find out, or stacking stars, how to stack stars, because the distance it doesn't change the angular size or distances for whole night unless they are close to horizon, like 10 degrees from horizon. But nobody in astrophotography business or this hobby does this, does any observations at 10 degrees near horizon, because too much air, too much wobble. So everybody, when we look at the star, the best is over the head or like close to 15 degrees max, because then the horizon, the air, it's not good, and we just don't do that pictures anymore. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much, Lubo. I appreciate it, man. It was nice to hear a new voice over here on Discord, and you're welcome anytime. Yeah, Discord works great, sounds good, and I appreciate you coming in, man. Anytime that I'm on, you can jump in. You're free. Feel free, man. Let's go with Marble Merman for final thoughts.
Pretty much, it's just the same arguments over and over. Gary can't behave himself. He acts like a child, like most flat earthers. Same as Lemonbird. It's a good show, but still, you guys got to grow up. You got
All right. Roboting. Oh, yeah, sorry. He dropped. Yeah, his microphone was shit. Earth is live. Do you got final thoughts, man? See if we can hear you, man.
Hey, give me one minute, man. I'm sorry.
All right. Yeah, we get Nestle Wipes for final thoughts first.
Yeah, Jose, I only just caught the last 10, 15 minutes of your show, unfortunately, so I don't really know what was discussed. I did hear Gary Benga talking some shit there for the last 5 minutes, and Lubo, yeah, Gravity, good movie, but the science in that movie is garbage.
Yeah, I know, but still better than like the moon, the Hollow Moon, or whatever. Right now,
That's good. Yeah, Moonfall. I mean, Earth is Live. Are you there for final thoughts? One more time. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. Go ahead, man.
So good show. Sorry that I was cutting in and out. You guys missed what I was saying earlier. Yeah, you can't really explain anything to Gary because I'm not sure what his end game is. I think what we're trying to do is we're trying to explain things to him, but according to Gary, he has everything already figured out. So he's not going to learn anything. He's not trying to learn anything. So in his mind, everything is the way he explains it. That's the way it is in his mind. So I think we're kind of wasting our time, even giving him attention because he's not going to learn anything else by us trying to explain things to him because he's already got it figured out. So anyway, thanks for the show. I'll go back and listen to the parts where I missed.
May I have one more
Thank you very
before?
much. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Well, if you have any brain cells left, MC Toon is going to have a show with 33 at 9 o'clock. Oh my god! What do you think about 33?
I have heard that name. I have heard that name. I don't know what he's made of. I'm not interested. Sorry, that's
He
me.
thinks that basically he thinks when he sees the number 33, everything is like a conspiracy with the number 33, pretty much. And he
Right.
goes down and he's like, "Oh, so you know why they had 22 of these and blah blah of these, and it makes the number 33. See everything, it's just like that. It's just a bunch of mysticism nonsense."
All right.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm getting out of here. It looks cool, like with the light, the magnification, with the lines and whatever. I don't know. Now I want a little crystal ball, like a crystal ball with lines, and it makes some strange effect as it goes around and in the edges. Pretty cool stuff.
Is that a new globe, Jose?
It's my mini globe, man.
Oh wow! Jeez, wow. Okay.
It's my mini globe. You thought it was a big one?
I thought it was a big one. Yeah. Wow.
Perspective. See, look. I got this globe and I got this globe, both the same size, pretty much. I can make an eclipse, with this one right here. See, an eclipse with these two globes. But
which one is more accurate?
Guess what? Look at the size. See?
Yes, Jose. But you're not taking into account the level of the eye.
Wait. In the eye level. There you go. Perspective. Boom. Jackpot. Oh man, good times, guys. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Jose JG out. I'm gonna hang up the show, but the Discord is open if you guys